Armand, can you move that mic? You're stealing our focus. Sorry, I'm asking you to multitask. Okay. We're somewhat live.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Should we
This
close
is how
the
this works.
door?
Not yet.
We're somewhat live?
Somewhat live.
We're somewhat live.
I always want somewhat
Microphone.
live. This light needs to be fixed. Let me tweak that.
Okay.
Okay.
Eric, can you move the camera
Is anything
notch
in
that
your
way?
shot?
like a rotate, not like a, yeah.
It's not rotating.
Okay. That looks better.
Which way? Oh, I see what's going
There we go.
Nice.
Thank you.
Real time
All the
adjustments.
housekeeping is getting done. This is nice, guys. We'll clean the bathrooms and the showers next. Okay. Say hi to the chat. And let me post this in the Discord. Milo's here too.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, he's hanging out on the floor.
Milo. What's up, buddy?
Milito, ¿qué pasa, güey?
Hold on. We got a link here. Welcome to
Yeah,
our live
probably.
show.
Better or worse?
God.
And then I have to tag at everyone because
Uh-huh.
Steven will
Spank.
crucify me if I
Gotta
don't.
do it. Gotta do it.
Are you going to spank him?
And then I'm gonna put in a new surprise title.
Oh, yeah? I love that for us.
Okay. I think we're locked in now. Everyone got their beverages?
See,
How we doing? I feel like you didn't get a proper warm up. You look not fully.
The transition
Yeah,
part?
yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't had the transition yet.
I haven't.
You still
I'll
have
be
work in your.
honest.
I have it
Yeah,
and trickling in
I
my
do.
brain.
Thank you. I feel so seen.
Yeah, I know.
I really, God, I love you. Thank you. See, like, this, I'm not complaining, but like, you know, if only like
Your wife could
Yeah.
understand.
like Nick can just read it immediately. You know, why are you like halfway across the room? Are we okay? Are
Bryce
we?
is telling us the shot's all fucked up already.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta lean. You gotta scoot back.
Oh god,
what's-
he's
what's
he's
messed-
moving the camera when he scooches back.
Oh my god.
Ay.
What's messed up in the?
The plane.
Oh my
your
God.
plane. Like he's pointed this way. You're
Oh,
back.
man, me and Nick look like we're on a. Oh Jesus.
What's wrong
That's
with?
so
Yeah,
slanted.
Eric needs to scoop, but then he's gonna hit the.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay, guys.
You can't really move. What's it doing to the shot?
It's crooked. We look like we're about to fall off a cliff. Not that one. This one.
we
you
should be
guys.
sliding. Which way should we be sliding? This way?
Just fix the angle of it.
That involves
Just?
moving. I think it moves. Oh.
No, that just goes up and down.
I know, but we do need to do that because that's also.
Okay, well that's good. That didn't sound good. What was that? Oh, it's gone the
Eric,
wrong.
scoot your
Oh,
chair back.
oh my goodness.
can I?
Why is Eric's chair so far back though?
It's so far forward. So scoot back.
Whoa.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Because we're not even.
Oh man.
We'll scoot forward. Okay.
Oh god.
Cut to.
All right. Well, we have 25 viewers now because I entitled the podcast "The Great Dildo Debate." So-
I need to see your shot.
Whoa.
That does not look right.
Behind the scenes.
The
BTC.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. They're like,
Make
it's
us-
all.
make us not crooked.
It's all a facade. Wow.
You have to adjust the legs.
I wish I could show you what this camera.
Can't.
What do you mean you can't?
How?
Just do it.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna do it now.
You should do it.
What the fuck?
Do it for the fans.
What are we trying to do?
Make me less slanted. I'm sloped.
Bryce, it was good enough.
You happy, Bryce? Look what you did. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Now you're getting to the real.
Jesus.
Why don't you show off the golf simulator while you're at it?
What are you guys missing? Damn tripod.
I wasn't gonna drink, but maybe I'll drink now.
What is he doing? What?
Steven, you do not get to say do it and then make comments.
But you're doing it wrong.
Nope, I'm done. Do you want to do it?
I mean, I have to sit here so you can see how crooked I am.
Muttering is good. It's worth it.
I feel like you should switch the camera to Armand.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, it's true.
It's a little off.
Well, he's not even close yet, so. The camera's so high now. What the fuck?
Should we just put Trading View on the screen while we?
I mean, it looks less slanted, so good job there. Okay.
I
Okay.
can't see the shot, Nick.
Okay, I can help you.
You're like right there.
Oh, you got it dialed. Okay,
Yeah, we're a little off center.
that's okay.
But, you
That's
know,
okay. We'll
I
take
think
that.
I think we can live
That
with
looks
that.
great, Armand. You actually did a really great job.
Now you are.
Yeah, get to work.
You know, maybe yours was fine.
All right, we're back. We're back.
What do they look like?
Breaking my back for you.
Eric, you want
this
to
one okay?
toggle? I look perfect.
Ah, you look great.
Thanks, bud.
A little dark for some reason, but
Okay. Well,
here.
everyone take a drink and let me know what you're drinking here. I see some Salty Crew beers. I see some Pacificos. Armand?
OFs
Got some OFs.
for the big boys.
What is that? Angel's Dust?
Angel's Envy.
Oh, Angel's Envy?
Angel's Dust.
What kind of whiskey is that?
It's a Kentucky bourbon.
It's a bourbon.
It's
Okay.
good. It's good stuff.
All right.
Big fan.
Well, before we get into the great dildo debate, which everyone is here to
My
hear about,
God.
let's give a shout out to our sponsor. So go to ZBiotics.com/alfalfa. Use the
For some
code.
reason, we seem to have lost half of the initial viewers.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
ZBiotics.com/alfalfa. Use the code alfalfa at checkout to get 15% off ZBiotics. The pre-alcohol is the one you want. It's the one we drink before we hop on the pod, before we start drinking.
The one I forgot to drink today.
You did forget. You did forget. And you should never run out of ZBiotics, especially since you have a
Pray for
special discount code to use. But you take it a few hours before drinking, and it takes care of that nasty toxin,
Acetaldehyde.
which wreaks havoc on you. It's what makes you feel like crap in the morning. And you take the pre-alcohol before, and you can still get the workout, the work in the next day. So, yeah, good life alfalfa there. Go to zbiotics.com/alfalfa. When you use the code, it lets them know that you support the pod, and you heard it from us. And thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring the pod. Okay, I don't know much about this topic. I just know that there's been dildos thrown on the court, and I don't know where the debate factor is actually in.
This has been the hottest topic of discussion.
What's the debate?
So I think Just Mike, at some point last week, we were all laughing about it, and then he was basically like, "I'm just gonna paraphrase him,
Okay.
guys. This is not funny,
Oh,
you know." And then it sparked a huge debate about whether this was in fact funny, or whether this was, I don't know, disrespectful,
misogynistic.
misogynistic.
I thought there was like actually a risk of physical danger for the players. I thought that was the other side of the debate. That
I mean,
they could
that's
actually
a
get
fine
injured.
argument. That's a fine argument. Put some nets up, you know. Got to make sure to.
So
catch
they did
stuff.
put nets up now.
Wait,
No
they
way.
did? I thought
They
that was I thought that was a joke.
Oh wait, it might have been a joke. I don't know what's real anymore.
I can't. I don't know what's real anymore either. Like,
I thought that was like a.
everything just seems like it could.
I just saw that somebody posted in our Discord that they're putting nets up. I don't know if it was fake.
Dildo nets, to be specific.
Dildo nets.
Okay.
I saw that too, but I just assumed it was fake.
Okay,
But they
'cause-
put nets around the entire court.
It's hard to talk about anything anymore.
I know.
Okay, so if it is real, which I think it is, that's got to be a pretty dramatic overreaction.
Are those like the suicide nets outside the factories?
No, I think it's like, well, shit, that's not the type of net I was thinking of. I was thinking of like baseball game net.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about suicide nets.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I just refuse to believe you're going to a game and there's just a fucking net in front of you.
Well, baseball has it.
Yeah, they have it like
They have it
right behind.
It's just the opposite.
But
it's
it's
like
the
the
high-
game and the players and the ball is a danger to the
Yeah, it's to protect the fans.
but
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is to protect the players.
Yeah.
I assume this kept happening because
Tables turn.
there's there's a Polymarket about will there be dildos thrown
Well, the
into the next-
Polymarket has created what people are calling dildo reflexivity.
Oh, I thought it was perverse dildo incentives.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the presence of the presence of Polymarket like makes the events themselves like more likely to happen. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was this whole collusion going on. Like, hey, you place the $100,000 bet, and I'll take the L, 5 days in jail and a 10K
I mean,
fine.
I actually wanted to place a bet on this because when I looked at the bet, it was like the odds of another one being thrown were like 40%, and I was like, oh, that's way too low.
Didn't somebody tweet like anybody who's going to be in this metro area, DM me, I'll give you $20,000.
Yeah.
What did you just say that the market is?
The market was like 40% when I was looking at it. It resolved to 100, I think, because somebody did in fact
You know what this is,
throw another
right?
dildo on the court.
This is Silicon Valley mean jerk time.
Mean jerk time.
Yeah.
That's a great scene.
It's one of the greatest scenes on television of all time.
So are we the engineers in the room? Okay, we're the
Yeah.
engineers.
And like we're just using money about this Polymarket to describe like what they were doing. It's ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, it's related in that there's like some sexual penis stuff, but
I almost forget that it's like
Don't
a
look at me
sexual
like
toy.
that.
It's just
Don't look
a
at me
means to
like
win a
that.
bet.
Yeah, so are you more interested in the money and the economic angle, or are you more interested in the ethical, like moral dilemma?
I'm interested in both. The Polymarket stuff I think is like interesting because like we've never had a point in humanity where like betting markets were so ubiquitous, right? And there's a certain point in time where there's like so much money at stake that they just start actually just affecting the world
Yeah, and
around
like
us.
with like sports betting, you typically like as a fan can't impact the outcome, but with this, it's like entirely dependent on the fans.
The Buddha says long nets, and Bruin Black retorts, the javelin throw will still make it.
Just like
Can't protect against javelins.
if you had a big enough net and you threw it precisely enough, it could just
Your dildo precision was.
yeah.
If you could like get a tight spiral on
It
that
would
thing.
have to be
Or just like
it would
100
have to
mile
be a
Nolan
bossless
Ryan
one, though.
through the net.
Yeah, through the net.
Can we watch a little bit of mean jerk time?
What?
We didn't hook up the audio to the video.
Sad.
Yeah.
We didn't even get the camera straight, so.
This is like the assassination markets problem, right?
Oh, what's that?
Well, there's a problem. Like people are like, should it be illegal to bet on somebody dying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
But what do you do if it's all decentralized?
Ugh.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you do in a world where there's like a truly decentralized betting market and people have like $15 million riding on whether some random person will die by like the end of the year?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Terrible. Everything's
But what do you
going
do
in
about
this
it?
crazy ass direction.
Okay, so help me
I
understand the
hate it.
Polymarket thing because I've never actually used the platform. Anyone can spin up their own wager, I
Yeah.
guess. It's like your own wager market, and then you get like
I mean, you don't necessarily incentivize the assassination. You could incentivize the protection of this human being, right? Because, like,
But it's so much
A no
easier
would
to
win.
incentivize the assassination than to incentivize like the assassination
One
is
is a
just
controlled
one
outcome.
one
Yeah.
thing that has to happen, and the other one you have to protect
Protect
against like all
everything.
possible.
Yeah.
Outcomes
it
of death.
absolutely incentivizes.
then I think you got to
murder.
bet on yourself.
Yeah, and like if you were like if you were somebody like you could spin up one of these markets, just inject a bunch of liquidity into it yourself. Be like, oh my God, there's 100 million of volume on this market. Everybody's wash trading whether or not like
Can you
John
just,
Cusack
can you just
dies.
imagine that? Just imagine it was you. Like imagine you have a target on your back everywhere you walk around. There's a multi-million-dollar market.
It's a good Black Mirror episode.
this is a
exactly that.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
is terrible.
a more tamed down version of this might be like, so say somebody creates a betting market that's like, will Angel Reese be slapped in the face with a dildo on live camera by the end of like the month? You'd be like, wow, that's really oddly specific. And like, she's not going to die, right? So, but like, if suddenly there were like millions of dollars being bet on this market,
It's
you'd be
guaranteed.
Angel Reese just looking around for dildos constantly. Like, where is the dildo coming? Like, it's coming.
oh my god.
And it's definitely going to happen.
But then do efficient markets take over? Do people just start betting yes and move it up to like 97%?
Dude, okay, this
And
is
then
crazy.
it's, like,
I hadn't thought of this. I hadn't thought of this stuff.
It's
I
not
was, I was
viable to
only
do it
thinking
anymore?
about like the dildo throw event itself, but this has like way more widespread ramifications.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I was just thinking about it like, come on, guys, don't throw shit on the court. But this is like actually pretty major.
So you're saying like, okay, it gets up to yes, where yes is 70%. She's gonna get slapped in the face by a dildo, and then the market corrects by betting no.
Well, like say that market gets listed and a bunch of money starts being bet on it, and there's like millions in volume, and then it's at like 10%. As an astute observer, you would be like, why was this market created, and why have millions been bet on this? Like this seems like an easy 4x on my money. And with Polymarket, you don't even have to have the outcome happen, right? Like if the market just goes from like 10 to 85, you could cash out like
sell.
8.5
that's
times your
true.
money, right? So maybe when these markets get created, like the market
get
gets
in
so
early.
good at sussing it out, it's just like, oh, this is the thing that's going to happen, and then the market just bets.
It
Yeah,
susses out
it just hammers the yes until it goes to such a high odd, and now the person who's like slapping Angel, poor Angel with the dildo is like, well, now I'm not getting that much on my money, so then maybe they don't
Okay,
do it.
we're getting pretty in the weeds on that. I do think that like what you're describing is like totally possible, plausible, maybe even likely that we're just like heading down this path. They would like probably ban the platform if it starts causing too much havoc.
But if it's decentralized, these
Which it
necessarily
is. But like didn't they
aren't
do
to
that
an
with like
extent.
It is,
Tornado?
but like not really.
Tornado they banned.
Yeah, but Tornado's back.
Okay, but they banned it for a while.
They did, but Tornado's back, right? So if Tornado's back and Tornado can exist,
You're talking about Tornado Cash.
yeah, Tornado Cash.
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking like, can you actually ban something that is decentralized?
So is it legit to use Tornado now?
Yeah,
Really?
not financial advice, not legal advice.
You still will be put on a list that you probably don't want to be on, but yeah, you can use it for the privacy.
I believe it is legal. Somebody in chat, feel free to correct me, but I believe it is legal even for U.S. citizens to use it.
Oh, it's legal.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was bad news bears.
You're
before.
using it along with like North Korean hackers, so
Yeah.
yours
But,
is
like,
getting mixed.
This is weird. Markets are going to get weird.
Yeah, like what if prediction markets become like really popular just in the context of like a large high school?
Yeah,
So really
You
what's
know?
happening is just like a hyper gambling culture if we decentralize this kind of thing.
But it's like
Fully-
hyper gambling, except like you have the actual. You're not like some shadowy KOL
Yeah.
who controls the whole supply of the meme coin. It's like anybody can throw a dildo onto the court, right? It's like anybody can be that. Like anybody can affect change. So there's like this whole other element to it that doesn't exist in other financial markets.
How are you going to play it? Are you into this kind of thing?
I like Polymarket. I've used it for a lot of stuff. I use it a lot.
I'm
during
one for
the,
one.
The election.
Yeah, the election.
You know.
Gavin Newsom.
It was the Trump thing when he swept the swing states.
Yeah, that was a great bet.
That was an easy
That was
one.
a great bet. But like I just imagine it'll become more efficient over time. There won't be edges, but then there'll just be like these markets where you're like, why are the odds that? That seems sus. And it will be a signaling mechanism that stuff is going to happen. And for that reason,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
I mean,
If they could actually get it to work in an app and actually just generally work,
Well,
people would be
Interactive
all over.
Brokers has these now as well.
I think I heard Robinhood was going to launch.
In Robinhood. So you have like
Robinhood,
two
yeah.
larger institutional players just legitimizing this thing. But it would be interesting to see like a mobile app player be like, I'm going to start it at this high school and see if I can reach escape
The next
velocity
Facebook.
at this high school.
Bro, it'd
Yeah.
be so bad because kids would be like, there'd be like a betting market on whether like Billy Mays like pees his pants by the end of the month, right? And then everybody's gonna start like betting on that, and then like some people, the bullies will start getting. Will Billy Mays punch himself in the face by the end of the month? You know, like oh no, what's gonna happen there?
Man, degenerates.
And I only just started thinking about this stuff like 5 minutes ago. I'm sure there's like a
fuels
bunch of other
degeneracy.
like way weirder shit that this.
Well, this is the kind of
Enables.
things people are going to do when they have nothing to do.
Is there any
Um,
chance that we just get over it? Like it just like loses its luster and appeal? Where we're
I don't
just,
know
like,
if we've even
Gambling,
started.
yeah.
not gambling, but just like how you control the outcome of a gamble, so it's not really gambling. It's just like watch dumb people do stupid
Well,
shit.
there was actually a portion of a Black Mirror episode in the most recent season that had this, and there was a site in the story called Dumb Dummies, and would go on for people who needed money. They would show up on a live stream, and people would be like, "I'll give you $100 to drink piss," and they'd be like, "No, I'll give you $1,000 to drink piss. Live stream, the guy like, fuck, $1,000. Like, I kind of need the money. And to the point where like one of the main characters is like pulling his teeth out for money to
Oh
do
my
it live
God.
on stream. And he's doing all kinds of stuff. And he gets addicted to dumb dummies because it's becomes his main source of income. Which might
Idiocracy.
yeah, we're going to talk about surplus humans here in a second, and this may be the eventual end of surplus
Wow.
humans.
Oh my god.
What about the ethical side of the whole debate?
Yeah, where did you?
First of all, the title of this episode is The Great Dildo Debate. I want to see a debate.
You want to see the debate?
I want to see a debate.
I think we can debate the ethical side
Yeah.
because I think in the Discord we were debating the ethical side. more.
Yeah.
I think Mike was like, I don't like this. This is like so. I have daughters, and this is like so disrespectful to women,
Mhm.
and this is like not funny.
I think it is. I think Mike is. I agree
It
with
was
Mike
more
on that.
nuanced than that, but yeah. That's
I
a
agree with
general-
Mike.
Obviously, Mike made a better point than I'm
Yeah,
making.
I think
but-
it's like that this would not happen in the MLB.
Oh wait,
This is
no,
like-
but Steven has a
I know.
great retort for that.
Sure, but I'm just stating his point that like this is clearly a form of disrespect to women, and everyone thinks it's funny, and or it's like, and I asked like, so are you like upset that it's just like not a unanimous, just like people condemning it? And I think ultimately like there's something like that where yeah, he would have liked to seen people just say like, hey, this is not okay. Like we're not taking the sport seriously. We're not taking these women seriously. This is super disrespectful, and it wouldn't happen with men, and people just wouldn't treat it the same way. So that's kind of maybe the general gist. I probably did a bad job, Mike, but general gist.
Let me
of
take
the-
those like one at a time. Like, is the throwing of the dildo like inherently like hatefully targeted at women?
Is it like more disrespectful if you throw a dildo at a woman than a man? I think it is.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think so.
Is there is there something being insinuated about the women that play this sport?
I don't know. Maybe it shows my own prejudice in a way because I treat women differently. But like, I don't like fart around. I wouldn't just like go and like fart on a woman, but I would like do that to my buddies. You know, like I think I just treat women differently. I wouldn't throw.
Right.
I wouldn't throw shit at. I wouldn't throw a sex toy at a woman I don't know.
It's
Okay,
a
but these
few
aren't
people
random
doing
women
it.
either. Which is important to note. Like these are, they're celebrities. They're like public figures.
I think that they're doing a job, and I think it's sort of disrespectful to treat them like they're not doing a job.
Okay.
So are you like against like all heckling in sports then?
I'm against throwing shit at people.
So let's look at this in a historical context.
Different
Like,
argument though. People were not saying like this is bad because we shouldn't throw shit on courts. Like,
Well, hold on.
I kind of agree with that.
Well, I can say that. I mean, like, I don't know what people are saying, but I can say that.
Sure, but I think that wasn't really the crux of the debate.
Okay.
Like, I don't think anybody was arguing that like, no, it's good to throw shit on courts and possibly strike somebody and hurt them. It was like, you know, is there something like inherently like funny and memey about this, or is it like bad for like, is it immoral?
Well, you have a lot of opinions on like, objective morality, but you don't seem to think that this is immoral.
No, I don't think it's immoral.
Would you feel that way if it was your sport that you cared about with people you looked up to that were being heckled and chastised and made fun of, and they were getting tomatoes thrown at them or rubber chickens thrown at them or dildos thrown at them? Like, would it matter? I mean, historically, like, if people didn't like a performance, they'd start throwing shit. This is, in a way, a performance. I'm not saying that the person throwing the dildo is doing it because they don't like the performance.
It is a time-honored tradition in some sense.
Just getting back to our nature.
This is
our
nothing. This
culture.
is nothing
But
new.
I don't think the reason they're doing that is that. The reason they're doing that is literally just for the meme and for the likes and for the attention.
Yes, I agree that. Okay, this is like kind of the crux of my argument. Is like there's not people on the sidelines being like these fucking lesbian women and like throwing a dildo. I think people are just like, oh, green dildo is funny. Throwing this on the court is like funny, you know.
But you would never do that. You would never throw a dildo on the court at WNBA
That's
games.
not something I would
He
do.
hesitated.
Why wouldn't you do
He
it?
gave a Peter Thiel hesitation.
Why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah, why wouldn't you throw a dildo on the court?
Because like I'm too straight edge.
You're a decent human
I'm too
being.
straight edge. I don't, you know.
Straight edge.
You
You're,
have,
you're just
you have morals.
you have morals. You're respectful. You're a nice person.
Right,
Don't
but
wanna go
you're
to
also asking like,
jail?
why are you not an edgy stand-up comedian? It's like, well, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with edgy stand-up comedy, and I enjoy it. And the fact that I don't partake in it, doesn't mean that like I don't think it's funny.
But like, if you could, you still would do comedy, but you can throw a dildo.
No,
on the court,
I
and you
would not
do
do
that.
comedy, even if I could. It is too
Well,
terrifying.
there's like a venue for like edgy stand-up comedy, and that's like at its own place. It's
Yeah.
not like at a WNBA game, probably.
I mean,
W-
why not?
None of us would do that because we think it's, disrespectful. It's dumb. Like, you're there to watch the game, whatever.
It's immature.
Now, when I watched it on the screen, I was like, oh, that's funny. It's not nice, but it's kind of funny the first time.
Then it happened again, right?
Yeah, and then it happened multiple times, and I was like, oh, there's this very interesting, like, incentivization going on about this spiraling out of control. But
It's got to be getting less funny over time,
Yeah.
right? Like,
I think. Look, I think the thing that like tweaked me the most was this basically like I have daughters and blah blah blah, and it's like I get that. Like if somebody threw a dildo on the court of a high school girls basketball game, I would be like, that's bad. That's not funny, right? But when you are like a public celebrity, you're like in the limelight, you're in the entertainment business, you are like making comments and stuff on video. Like many of the people I would say in the they're quite unlikable for a variety of reasons. Like they're public figures. There's like a different standard for public figures versus like harassing random girls on the playground.
okay,
Right.
I get that.
There's a different standard there.
So it's okay. Okay. If someone throws a dildo at the Oscars, is that okay?
Yeah, it's very funny.
So just because they're a public figure, it's more okay.
Like I'm not saying we should do it. I would laugh at it.
Does it matter like how much money you're making? Like if they threw
That's essentially
dildos,
what you're saying.
if they threw dildos at pickleball player women, they're making less money than WNBA probably. Like is that like more egregious to you?
I think, yeah, I think there's a power element to this. I think if you have like less power, like it's like just perceived as like more being mean and punching down. Like comedy is mostly used kind of like punching up in a lot of areas. That's like a lot of the funny comedy.
Yeah.
Like sometimes if you do comedy and you're just like beating up on like a helpless person, like people perceive that and they're like, this just feels
there is this
kind of
like
mean.
punching up thing because like when you said the Oscars, I was like, more morally okay, not great, but like
Let me draw a more maybe analogous example that comes with a possibility of disrespect. I mean, an absolute possibility of disrespect versus this one where it's like, is it because, this is a predominant lesbian league of women? So in soccer, in Spain and in
Oh,
Italy,
yeah.
they're extremely racist. And there's been a huge problem with throwing bananas at black players. Is that funny?
It's been so severe that it's led some of these leagues to like ban all fans from
All
the
fans.
games. So like
All fans.
the
So
game
just
will be
you
played in front of
lose rights.
no audience.
The entire fan base will lose rights to attend games.
So that's where the punching up argument goes away because, like, they're professional soccer players. They're more powerful, have more money. They're in an entertainment business. But that, like, is like a line for me when it's clearly racist and it's so egregious too.
And there are a lot of people saying this is clearly sexist and whatever you call clearly, someone like disrespecting your sexual orientation.
I think you bring up a good point.
I threw a fork in there.
I think it's a good point. What I would say is that like there is some gradation between like throwing a banana at like black
There
players
is,
as
there
an
is.
ongoing thing where intent has been expressed that that's why you're doing it
Yes.
versus like throw dildo on court.
because
This is
laugh.
maybe just a little more subliminal version of that, though. Like, clearly they're being racist because they're also vocally saying shit to the black players.
Yes.
It is, like, way over the
Yeah.
line, clearly. In this situation, it's subliminal. And the people that are upset upset about the subliminal messaging that accompanies the action.
Yeah, there is ambiguity around
There
the
is.
intent though. To Steven,
This is very similar to
Steven's
the
point.
Sydney Sweeney thing, though.
No, the intent does matter,
Yeah.
right? Because if there was somebody who is like just like became famous, like he's like posting online as like with some anonymous mask, and he's like, I am the great dildo slayer, and like I hate black lesbians, and that's why I'm doing that. Then it would be like, it's not that funny anymore, because like now like there's like this thing that is definitely represented by it that like
Yeah.
you don't like, but right now like there's an ambiguity to it, right? Like the example I used in the Discord was like, I'm a Patriots fan. It became quite normal for the Buffalo Bills to throw dildos at the New England Patriots in the end zone, right? The dildo isn't necessarily like a anti, like I hate women. That's why I'm throwing a dildo. It's just.
It kind of is, but it's not clearly being stated. The
So
way
when
that you
when a
described.
Bills fan throws a dildo at Tom Brady, he's saying like I hate women.
No, but it's obviously different when it's women being thrown at.
Why?
Because
Why?
it's a sex toy for it's a sex toy for men.
Oh,
too.
is it?
Yeah.
Is it? I think dildos are used by men. They're used by women. They're used by straight women, gay men.
I find it the most interesting part.
Honestly, the dildo is a multicultural, gender bending. So it's like honestly one of the most.
Didn't Marty post that we've been using dildos since like the 1300s?
Is that the lore of the dildo?
Yeah.
BC?
They're made out of
I
wood back
believe-
then.
Wood. made out of stone and wood.
Now I will agree.
Stone.
I will agree that the throwing of the dildo it is towing a line. But that is also what makes comedy the funniest.
Where
like
I
comedy
agree
that
with
goes
you-
right up to the edge and just like that's like some of the funniest.
You is that intent is fundamentally important.
Oh, yeah.
If we do not measure actions by their intent, then everything is subject to being over the line. So intent has to be how you measure an action. That's the same goes for comedy or a joke.
But that's what makes it so
or
hard
a
is that
remark that
you
you make to somebody.
you
They
can't-
can't complain if your intent. But then you could tell the person like, I feel that was disrespectful.
Yeah.
That's fair. And then they could say, but my intent was X.
So we talked about this like on an early Alfalfa episode, that like all of this intent is getting lost in like modern
Yeah,
society, and
yeah.
it's like impossible to measure. Like when you're seeing like a clip of somebody saying something, or you're seeing like just like a highlight of something, it's like
Right.
impossible to measure the intent.
Right.
And that's
well,
where
we've
all
kind
the
of
problems
threw
arise.
out the intent as well. We stopped caring about the intent.
You think?
Yeah, I think we do need to care about the intent. That was like when cancel culture and woke culture like was really at its peak.
Right.
There was no focus on intent.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, the pendulum has swung and is swinging toward this more moderate, maybe even possibly really rapidly swinging toward the opposite. But where I stand is like the intent really matters, and I don't know anything about what's been going on. I haven't read a single thing. I haven't seen a single video. But if there's not a movement of some weird basement guy saying like "fuck these women" and we should throw dildos at them for this reason, then it's a little bit harder.
Did you see the guy?
It's a little more
Did
ambiguous.
you see the guy who
yeah,
got caught?
I saw a picture of him.
Yeah.
It's basically who you're describing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a
Basement
fucking,
guy?
It's just a fucking insult.
Basement
right?
guy.
Yeah.
Like the power dynamics matter
The
a lot.
guy that has never gotten close to a dildo other than buying one to do this.
like if Donald Trump goes to a high school basketball game and throws dildos at girls, that's bad. That's very bad. There's a very powerful person throwing things at like very powerless people, like clearly just to antagonize. But like when you talk about some fucking incel kid just throwing a dildo on the court because it's a meme and he thinks it's funny, and like the people involved are these women who are like part of like $300 million organizations, right? It's not like that bad, guys. It's not that bad. I'm not saying we should do it. I don't think it's good that we should do it, but like I don't view it as
Do you
some
not
like
view it as a slippery slope? Like people are
everything
there
is
to watch
a
game?
slippery slope.
Yeah, but it completely like just
literally everything is a
degenerates
slippery
into,
slope.
Yeah, but it just devolves into this like terrible.
But I agree, we shouldn't throw
world.
stuff on the floor at games. That's a different argument.
But this is the moral argument I'm posing. I'm saying like if you just allow and justify certain things, the slippery slope is so dangerous that all of a sudden you're not watching a sport anymore. You're there for a spectacle, and the honor of the sport is lost completely.
I
Like,
agree.
if
I
if
agree
there's
with that.
7 dildos
I agree
every
with that.
game, and it disrupts every game. The game is over.
I was also thinking, like, not even about the dildo throwing in isolation, but I was thinking about, like, how it's like a minor form of disrespect. And, like, I don't think any of us view it as, like, a sign of respect. It's like disrespect, but to what degree? And I think when you, like, frame it in a world of, like, really heinous actions going on, you look at this and you're like, not that big of a deal, right? It's kind of a nothing burger. But I think if you, like, to Armand's point, if you, like, take that and just, like, use that all the time, you're just kind of a jackass.
We're,
Like,
we're starting to just justify disrespectful, immature behavior for the sake of laughs and ambiguous like intent, and the next thing you know, everything just devolves and we're living in idiocracy.
Sure, but I'm not trying to defend that.
I know you're not,
You
but
know?
I'm posing this argument that like it will devolve into that if we allow it. So is there a line as a society that every society has its lines, right? There's a Orwellian window of speech, and there's also one of action.
And does this
cross the Orwellian line?
But does the line get defined by
Overton?
like responses?
Overton, Orwellian.
I was
I was
like,
like, is
"Ah,
there
I
a
learned
different
something new
window?"
today.
Overton. Orwellian
One of
window.
the O's.
So like, does the Overton window get defined like by culture through like stuff like this, like where we say
Yeah.
like this is not acceptable or this is like
This is actually like a perfect use
Because if
case
the
of the Overton
punishment
window.
is severe enough, like in Singapore, no one's doing that in Singapore. So
Yeah.
these Overton windows exist in society-based structures. Like it's not going to happen
No,
there.
like I would actually say a dildo is slightly inside the Overton window, but if you throw a full strap on out there, that's outside the Overton window.
gimp mask.
Yeah, like so I like the Overton window. It's this like
I need a drawing and a diagram.
Yeah.
we
Things
need one of those
inside,
like
outside.
chart.
Yeah.
We need like the fuck around, find out with like hot crazy. We need like our own hot crazy matrix with just
We're talking about
objects that
diagram,
can be
how to use a
thrown on
dildo.
cords. Anyway, please don't throw stuff. I'm not advocating for throwing stuff on cords. I don't think we should throw stuff on
Just
cords.
waiting
It
for one to
ruins
get
the
logged in
game.
the studio.
Somebody could get hurt. These are all legitimate reasons. But like to frame this as some like heinous like sexist act, and it's just like no,
Dude,
I don't
I'm
think so.
pretty sure if you got hit in the head with a dildo, you could like get knocked out.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
I'm pretty sure
for
that
sure.
would cause
one of those like
concussion.
large black dildos. Like it's just
The most confusing part about this is that obviously the WNBA games, the security is like screening for dildos. So how is the next
there's
person?
so many-
that's
How are
so
they
many
getting it in there?
Memes of people like
That's solved.
me
Keystring.
walking into the
The basement dweller has no problem tucking that thing. Okay, he's got no problem tucking that
Okay.
thing. He's been doing it at home for years.
That's good.
So goddamn addicted to porn that he didn't know what else to do with himself.
How does that even go? They're patting down your leg. They're like, you're like, that's my penis.
Yes,
No,
there's
you
not-
just tuck it right next to your real.
There
one.
is a. Have you guys seen that? That's like an old viral video, right? Where the guy's like tapping the guy's leg. He's like, "What's this?" And the guy's like, "That's my penis." And he's like, "Oh."
I've never seen
He's
that.
just tapping his leg. It's pretty far down. He's just like, he's like,
Will you
what?
back in
He's like,
here?
"What's this?" That's my penis. He's like, "Oh."
I wish we could pull that up right now.
I know we need a producer so badly.
Don't have audio.
No.
It's such a classic.
All right.
uh,
I think we analyzed every
Did
part of
we,
the great dildo
Wait, I
debate.
got it. It's like 4 seconds. They move away from him so fast.
What's this? That's my penis.
That's my penis.
This guy is so calm.
Dude, he's also cuffed. I just realized he's actually being arrested. Oh my
He's
god.
getting arrested and molested.
Yeah. Oh my god. Packing a hog.
All right.
That's so good.
That would not happen to me.
All right. So we have a we have a topic card in here called surplus humans. So this was a pretty long article here, but I'll try to summarize the thesis here. The displacement of human labor by techno.
This is by Thicky Thought.
Yeah, I wasn't going to
those
mention the author's name
familiar.
because it kind of
That's a
discredits.
crypto guy?
Why is it discredit?
Because his username is Thicky Thought.
Yeah, but Thicky Thought's like actually very smart. If you
Okay.
followed him,
He's a crypto guy, right?
Yeah, he's kind of like a gigabrain, but like kind of like one of those like good Alexander, kind of doomerish like
Okay.
gigabrain kind of guys, but very thoughtful guy.
Yeah, so he talks about like the same topic we've talked about. AI will kind of like progress, and at some point, he talks about rendering human labor economically obsolete, similar to how horses were displaced by machines in the early 20th century. He talks about much of humanity will be a surplus class whose value lies not in productive labor, but being passively exploited. And he mentions attention, data, and consumption as the things that they will be exploited with. He says existing critiques, especially Marxist ones, accurately describe the problem but fail to provide viable alternatives, which leaves capitalism's momentum unchecked. emerging philosophies like accelerationism and political theories like dark enlightenment, we're going to have to talk about these, predict and even embrace this transition, which risks eroding democracy and human dignity. And just worries about the ethical and social consequences of this displacement. And he sees like a cohort of techno-capitalistic elite, and then what he calls the surplus class, and all the.
I mean, this is one of the good lines from the article that
Okay.
kind of opens it up. It's like, once gasoline engines replaced the demand for horsepower, farmers stopped breeding horses. Surplus and aging horses were minced for European mince markets, boiled down into glue, or ground and canned into dog food. By 1960, the national horse population had collapsed to barely 3 million, a 90% decline in just 4 years.
So does he say that? Does he?
The next line is, today, the same story looms over the human
Oh,
population.
shit. In particular, the population decline is part of his thesis.
I don't.
Population decline preempts this whole thesis.
It's sort of happening, but it probably would be accelerated by
It
this.
would be accelerated. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, it would be. It is an interesting question of like, is there causality there? Like, it can't be positive for birth rates if like it's like human consensus that you're just birthing like basically horses glue, yeah, future glue. That wouldn't be.
But it seems
That
like
wouldn't be
he
bullish.
makes the argument that like you need a surplus class because you still need to monetize the attention, their data, and you also need someone to kind of consume media. And
But you don't. You don't need them to do. Okay, so if you fast forward this, right, you've just got robots that can do like all human labor.
Yep.
And then you have AGI. The very concept of like the whole, a very economic concept, right? This idea that, oh, we have to consume things to generate demand so that people have money, so that like we create stuff. The whole thing gets like wiped away. Like if you have robots and AGI like, that can create anything and do manual labor, why do you need people to buy stuff? Like what is this economic engine you're even trying to drive there? Like to make it even more succinct, I guess. Like if you had like the Star Trek replicator device where you could just like tell it to make something and it could just make anything.
Well, you need to buy more robots. I mean, you need to buy some robots for your own house.
Why do you need to buy why?
Well, because if I want services like make me an omelet or massage my back, I need a robot to do that for me.
Sure, but look, what if the cost of the robot just goes way down?
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, to like basically like there's a certain point where it's just like what do you need people buying stuff for?
I mean, I don't think we disagree. I don't think we have any qualms with like the doomer angle of this, that, you know, okay, there could be a class of surplus humans at some point. We've talked about that. What are we going to do with them?
it's happening right now.
Yeah. And
Right now. We
and
already see it.
There's like financial desperation there. And then he mentions the Marxist critique, which is mostly doomerish about that outcome. But then he says, oh, there are some more constructive philosophies on how to view this. And he mentions accelerationism and dark enlightenment. Do you understand what he's talking about in terms of like these other ways to view this? Is there a
Dark
positive way?
Enlightenment, the Curtis Yarvin thing?
He says, blogger Curtis Yarvin critiques democracy as a facade, advocating for technocratic authoritarianism where a managerial elite rules like a corporation, sidelining popular political participation as labor loses economic
This
relevance.
is what I talked about. on
This
the
is
pod,
basically like the king,
a month ago.
yes kings thing.
Yeah. That also seems a little doomery.
Yeah,
Like none of these are
I don't
constructive.
think Curtis Yarvin is a sunshine and rainbows guy. No, it's like it all feels very doomery. But it's like we're this isn't a future thing. Like I feel like we deal with this like in the here and now. Like do you remember like months ago where we read that like bottom quintile tweet? It's like one of the growing up means like you become familiar with the fact that like the bottom quintile rules like all of your life. Like when you're in high school, like you're at the mercy of the bottom quintile.
Like,
the laws are meant to regulate the bottom quintile. All the welfare, like all this stuff. It's just basically like there's this kind of like chunk of society that just like is this like huge drag on you in like a bunch of ways, and you're just supposed to like live with it. And
I mean, health
accept it.
insurance is like a good example of that. Like most of us not pay for the average person, you pay for the expense of the bottom 25%.
Yeah, I mean, this is how people turn into kind of like Thanos type Bond villains. Because if you just like, if you have no regard for human life, like you're not religious, you don't think there's anything sacred about human life, and then you look at human beings in this like very like black and white kind of like dark way, you could look at already a gigantic swath of the human race and be like, you don't do anything other than just like
You guys
consume.
you guys are inefficient.
You just like consume resources and make life worse for the planet and for everybody else.
I mean, that's the new religion.
What's the new religion?
That, what you just described. Like, so many people believe that.
I guess in like a techno-capitalistic
Well, yeah.
thing, you're like,
Who
well,
believes that specifically?
Like the Yarvin Thiel tribe. That
Yeah,
is
I guess they
shifting
kinda
us
do.
toward this.
It's interesting because there's a left group and a right group that believes that. Like my
Yeah, there
friend
are.
who I theoretically told to KYS is like on the left side of that, right?
Mhm.
Because it's basically like all humans are just sort of bad because like nature, right? Whereas like the Teal Yarvin types are basically like these humans are bad because they're like holding back the rest of us, so we don't need them anymore.
That's true. And when you think about like a unifying vision for the world that will have to come after this fourth turning, if there is these cyclical events throughout history, that is currently the predominant one. And there's no alternative vision that is currently even seeding itself to a degree, to the same degree as that one.
Well,
and that's extremely concerning.
does
Because we end up just creating manifesting exactly what we are, what leaders will state.
I feel like
and visualize.
UBI is still part of that like
It
worldview.
is.
Like, hey, we're gonna provide, but you're saying those still can exist in
I
that
think
same
that
worldview.
They say that, but I don't. I think it's more like what Stephen is saying, where they would also sort of be okay with discarding of a huge swath of the population that doesn't cut its weight
That's scary.
in a new super intelligent AI world in which they want everyone to be productive alongside AI. And if you're not going to be productive, they don't want to provide for you.
So, but what Elon's a little
I mean,
different.
Yarvin literally talks about ethnic cleansing.
He does.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the argument for repopulating the Earth is that if we don't, you see this massive deflationary impact. I mean, just the economic impact of it is this massive deflationary event in which the older people grow old and they don't stop producing, and so economic activity decreases significantly if there's not enough humans being created. I guess, are they saying that
I'm
it
sure
doesn't
that
matter anymore
They
because you
believe
don't?
it'll be subsidized,
Mm.
and it won't matter.
You don't need parents to have
No, 'cause I
2.1
think that
children
the most
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. The most productive human beings won't be really doing labor or even knowledge work. There will be a tiny percentage that are like working on AI and revolutionary stuff, like going to Mars, and then the rest of us will just be creative and entertain each other. And then the ones that can't do that, which is already currently 10% of the population, can't even qualify to join the military, maybe like 8%, because they can't even meet the bar, which
Wow.
is the lowest bar available for any level of employment,
Yeah.
are already, I don't want to say surplus at all, but like are already what Stephen described, like this bottom quintile rung that is like the ones that we're focused on, like creating an environment for that's like standard of living. What do you have when that becomes 40%?
That's fascinating, maybe in a bad way, because I've always held true that we need the population to continue growing. It's almost like this mini Ponzi scheme where like you need the population to grow to support more economic activity and, keep inflation growing at a small pace and for everyone to do well. And you don't want a population, collapse. But I guess in an era of like hyper productivity with robots, that doesn't necessarily hold true anymore. You could potentially withstand like a population collapse of if our generation or the next generation doesn't have babies anymore, you could still see the same amount of economic activity with less humans on the earth. I've never actually had that thought really challenged before, and I'm kind of rethinking it as you're
Well, it's terrifying, and
Documents.
it starts with first controlling that population, because they're going to be around for a while. So a lot of that ties into the tinfoil ideology of like what's going on in terms of like just hyper surveillance culture, controlling the population, ensuring that they don't disrupt the plan. And I guarantee you, 90% of the plan is not being publicized.
It's a good point because he mentions in the article that like a techno capital system is so complex and so large and so overreaching that it makes collective action impossible. Like there can't be a re-uprising
They
and
can't
a
allow
revolution
it.
at any
They
point.
can't allow it.
Yeah.
They have to prevent it, which is exactly what the tinfoil sort of like, world order movement is most concerned about. And a lot of it is unfolding right before our eyes, but most of us don't want to look at it, don't want to see it, don't want to take it seriously. To Stephen's point, there's already people being displaced. There's already Palantir already knows so much about what we do and who we are.
I mean, what should you do? Should you
Listen-
should you be aware, and that should be like what you're doing for it, or is that the bare minimum?
I don't think awareness is going to do anything.
Well,
I
I
got
think the only
3 to
way,
5 years to make sure you're not in the bottom
Right.
quintile.
You just gotta do whatever you can
Like-
to do as best
Like,
for
are you
yourself as
when
possible.
you say that? Do you mean like yourself, or do you mean like if your goal was to save society from this
yeah,
shift toward
I suppose
this like dark vision?
Well,
of
I'm just
the
sort of
world?
responding to your comment saying like, and nobody's really doing anything, and nobody seems to care. I'm just wondering like, so what would you prescribe? I think
I think people care. I think people are trying to prevent this from happening. I think there's a lack of a unifying alternative being proposed by optimists for what the future should look like. And it is time that that person stepped up, or those people step up, and that idea started to propagate itself. Because if it doesn't, this is the direction things are going.
Do you think it's true that people care?
I know people care.
If
I
it's-
know people care about people. Like, of course, there's a percentage of people that
yeah,
do.
you care about people like in theory, but like how much of your day, how much of your mental bandwidth like actually goes to caring about like the 6.5 billion people on planet Earth who are basically just already they're kind of like already surplus, like according
Right.
to the
And, like-
definition. They're already like so far behind.
and then
like
how much
Western
how much
society- like-
should you? How much should
Like,
you
do
care?
people care?
Well, how much should you care? I asked this off air. I asked Nick and Armand. You were out that week, but I asked Nick and Armand. I was like, how much should we be
is
doing
the,
for the
uh,
greater good of humanity?
This is the below my line debate.
Debate,
Yeah.
not your view, just to debate.
This is I don't know. This is like borderline absurd to me to not care. It's like life is the greatest gift of all. And knowing that more people could experience that is a beautiful thing.
How much do you care if
No,
all
it's-
you do is words, though? Like,
no,
do
but
you
it's
really
not a
care?
binary thing. It's not a do you care. It's a how much do you care and what are you going to do about it. It's degrees. It's how much.
Well,
how
there's a
much do you
line,
care?
and there's a line of like what you're willing to tolerate. And I think certain people are going to hit their line, and they're going to speak up, and they're going to prevent certain Orwellian, this time Orwellian things from occurring. And there's just going to be a line. Like they're going to push until they can find the line. And so many things happen that happen and unfold right before our eyes, and it's just a test for what are people willing to tolerate. COVID was a test.
Bro, people are willing to tolerate COVID. They're willing to tolerate, like, basically an entire nation across the seas getting, like, systematically eradicated right now. Like, of course they're willing to tolerate
Dude,
that.
I'm not
Like,
even
you know?
tinfoily, and I can clearly see that COVID was a test of totalitarian authority. Like, how quickly will people unify when there's a quote unquote emergency?
Yeah, so I guess that's I see Steven's point now when you say people do care, and Steven retorts, do they really? Because you see these episodes of like people not doing anything in the face of totalitarian moves and the like.
And,
So
and of
then-
course, like, there are people who genuinely do care. There are lots of people who do care. Like, I'm speaking in broad strokes about society.
Okay, so like let's play out not caring. You live in a world with like 1 billion humans, okay? And like finally it finds a sort of, balance point, and just like, okay, this is how many people we need for society to function. This is how much like production we actually need. We've landed in this place. Like, is that, I don't know, is that like interesting to you to have just like less people and then just be surrounded by robots and AI? Like, is that what people really want? Who's going to go explore the galaxies? People. And if we're going to become intergalactic, like, don't you want more people of your species actually out there exploring the stars and bringing life to this planet? Like, I think there's so many reasons to want people and more of them, not less of
Yeah,
them,
like
or
nice-
at least
they're like nice to
maintain,
haves, though.
maintain what we have. Like, look at what we've produced. Like, every single human being is the possibility of another
But
genius.
how much of your energy would you choose to devote towards
don't know.
your betterment versus
know.
like
The
like,
answer to that, I
supporting-
think, is very clearly like until it matters. And the point in which it matters and starts to become painful for you as an individual. Like, everyone has a line and it still starts
Yeah.
affecting you, then it's like,
Yeah, but
this is
like
affecting
that
me.
old Holocaust quote, right? Well, they came for somebody. I said nothing. They came for the Jews, then I said nothing, and then they came for me, and then there was nobody left to speak up for me. Like, that's kind of how it plays out.
Definitely.
Just like slowly. What's
Definitely.
what's that law that about like how many relationships humans are able to actually maintain?
I
Oh,
forget
yeah.
what it's called.
it's like tribalism. It's like you have 150.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, it's like
150 is the
like
number.
100
Yeah.
and something, right? And we've got billions of people. Like, the reality is, like, there's just like many orders of magnitude more people on Earth than like any human can really connect with or care about in a way that that truly matters to them, that drives them to do stuff. Otherwise, it's just sort of
insane to me.
purely
Like, okay, so you could
intellectual.
argue, if I argue against some of it, it's like, well, Armand, we don't need as many of these so-called geniuses because superintelligence is going to take care of like all the things you need. Like, your life is going to get better and you're going to get all the things you need, but then you lack what you and I talked about, which I believe in truly and fundamentally, which is the thing that is most sacred is human creativity, and that creativity is different than creativity that will ever come from any AI system.
I don't believe that.
I
by the
know
way.
you don't believe that, but I believe that, and I believe that humans will value that
I think that's
and
very
will miss
cocky
it.
of you.
It's not cocky of me.
Very cocky of you.
That's not cocky of me at all. So you call me a speciesist? Like, I like my species?
I mean, I wasn't thinking that initially, but yes.
well,
I'm a speciesist
then
too.
fine. Call me a
Speciesist?
speciesist.
I'm a speciesist.
Call me a speciesist. I
speciesist.
love human beings. I don't want to live in a world that is like overwhelmingly just AI and robots.
Different
because
argument.
I believe that that's
Different
different
argument.
species. How is that different?
Okay, the desire to live in a world of humans, in spite of the fact that the art and the music they produce and everything is less good than AI at a particular point, is a different argument than saying, I don't think AI will ever produce better art than humans. Those are totally different things. And I can get behind wanting to live in an imperfect world that is like less ideal, but it's human. That I can get behind. I can't get behind saying like no AI will ever be as creative as humans.
It won't capture the human spirit.
I disagree with that as well.
Oh, we'll see, brother.
Yeah. I mean, we've probably. I feel like we're already seeing it.
We will see.
right now. We're already seeing the
Guarantee
human
you we'll
spirit
see it.
being captured by AI with our Gen 2 version of AI that's still like many decades of iterations away. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, one worst case scenario is you still have this bifurcating of productivity where there's a techno capitalistic class that is max productivity, and then you have a bottom quintile that is, let's call it like 0 to low productivity, but there is no social safety net in place, or the returns from this techno optimistic view are not enough to like support. Like, either there's not enough money or there's no vehicle to support the bottom half. That seems like the worst case scenario, because then you have this like bifurcation, but then there's not even like a equivalent of like UBI to.
But that's inevitable. That actually is the problem, because like I put forth this like Star Trek replicator end game where like everything is like infinite and everything is abundant. I think that brings up like a whole different interesting set of challenges, like because like right now, for example, like economics and in the past like physical strength were sort of like the great dividers of humans, and humans like segregated into like the powerful and the less powerful, and they they did so like gleefully. We want to do that using those means. So like, how do humans segregate? Like, if everybody can literally have anything, then I think like that's like this whole other different world, and a bunch of other different weird shit plays out. The problem, as you say, is that there's this chasm to cross before we get to infinite abundance, where we have like incredible amounts of abundance and power for those who can afford to have it.
Right.
And then they get into the situation where they can have everything. There's a bunch of people who have nothing, and a bunch of people are like, well, why should we even care about these people anymore? Like, why? They're just dregs on society, dregs on the world. Like, why do we need them? Like, because we don't have infinity, but we have more than enough to make our lives good. And
dude, be careful what you ask for. All I know is like you got to really play this out.
Yeah, I'm not
Second
asking
and
for
third
this.
order
I'm just
effects.
saying it's probably going to
It sounds
happen.
like you're treating it like an inevitability.
It is an
And
inevitability.
it sounds
I
like
think.
it's going to start to align with like the Peter Thiel vision of the future, and I don't want to live in that. And I worry.
I mean,
What time scale are we talking about here? Like 15 years, 20 years?
All I know is we'll still be in our prime, and you'll want to live. Yeah, it's concerning.
okay, you're making me want to talk about Peter Thiel now.
Man, our generation will have the best good old day stories because they'll be like this pre-AI, post-AI thing. Like, well, back in my day,
I told you we are the most blessed of all time.
you got
we
pre-internet, post-internet.
The most blessed, the greatest generation of all.
Oh yeah, those like few years of barely digital bliss that
N64
we
and
get to
dial-up
experience.
generation
Oh,
wins.
unbelievable.
Wins. We will. It'll be like just you'll constantly be interviewed. Well, the problem is, it sounds like we're not going to have any youth anymore. So we're just going to be the last
No
generation.
use.
no
No
use.
use.
We're just the last generation. That's it. Like just going to a few more and dwindle down to nothing. And
I don't think we're the last generation. I think there's already 2 generations after us.
you know what I mean.
not to deflate your sense of
The
specialness.
last large one. Like the boomers of the future.
Wait, I want to go back to your Peter Thiel comment. You sound like extremely bearish, Peter Thiel.
I think, yes. Yes. If you can't easily answer the question of like, should the human species exist? I think I think what was that episode we had about red flags?
Oh.
I think that would be like a whoa. Not sure if you and I see eye to eye on this
Yeah.
one. That's a red flag to me.
I feel like I need to transition into another topic that we didn't have on the docket, but you're itching my brain on.
Well, itch your balls and let it out.
This is going to be like another iteration of Marty was right, I think. I don't know. I've come around to this idea that like Trump is basically just like controlled opposition at this point.
I don't see it. Tell me how.
And I think there's a question of like, was it always intended to be this way, or did this kind of get hijacked somewhere in the middle? But like, I think Trump is now just like he's like a transitional figure to get us to President J.D. Vance.
So that's the one I would agree will be controlled op. But why would Trump be?
It's very obvious, I think, that Trump is controlled op. Like, I think you just, I don't know. I think you just have to look at like all of his like Israel stuff. Honestly,
Okay,
is like
that would be
enough.
If I had to make an argument, that would be it too.
Yeah, that was pretty weird watching that unfold.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just.
And I know, like, I was kind
Barbaric.
of like iffy on the bombing Iran thing on this pod like a couple months ago. I think I've definitely decided that was not a good thing to do, and I think I kind of. They're really good at like suckering you in with like these kind of narratives that like tweak a thing in your brain that
Great
you
narrative.
agree with. Okay, like a good example of this right now, one of the hot topics is like Trump is effectively just taking control of like the police and Washington D.C., right?
He like
And
was the National Guard or
yeah, and like there's like a good argument for that, like because like if you look at like kind of what's happening in like the cities of this country, like there is just some shit going down. It's bad, and people will be like, oh, crime is down. It's be
Okay,
like, well,
I was.
I
Just
don't want to
speaking
dive
to
into that.
Someone lives in D.C. like literally. And it's like, is it any different? Actually, Eric asked them, like, is it any different than any other city? They said, no, it's the same. It's just like we have homelessness and some crime, and it's the same. Like, was it a justified action? Or is this just like clean up the capital and it's justified because it's the capital and we want the capital to be like super cool and clean and crime free?
Beijing.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, Avi Feldman, who's a Twitter trader guy, put out a thread on this about his experience living in DC. Where he talked about how it's just like a fucking hellhole, basically, compared to the '90s, and that the reason crime is down is because people just don't report crime anymore. Because he's like, well, I mean, my car's getting broken into, and the police just kind of like laugh at us, and so you stop reporting it, and like all this stuff. And I don't know how much worse DC is than the other cities, but like the other cities are like very bad. Like so there is this kind of like sense of lawlessness, and then like people turn to sort of strongmen in these times of lawlessness. And then like the argument being put forth by the other side a lot of time is like, no, crime is down, and they just cite these kind of like mid stats, and then you can't even agree with them because their reasoning is like so fucking bad. And like you can kind of get behind the idea that like, yeah, like why would you go to the nation of like the capital of a country? It should be like a beautiful place and like incredible, and it shouldn't be riddled with homelessness and crime, and that's appealing, right? But then like you dig deeper into it and you're like, okay, like we're gonna mobilize these like kind of like anti-protest like forces and like all the cities around the country, and like you've got like fucking Palantir like involved in the government now, and they fucking databases like unifying like everybody in like all information on everybody, and then you're like anti-protest, but why? What are you gonna protest? Huh? What are people protesting these days? Like, are they protesting like a particular war that's happening overseas? Like, did we also like pass like all this like legislation? We tried to like defund colleges for supporting particular things. Like, where might the protests break out first? Could it possible that all the protests break out at the fucking colleges, right? So it's like I try not to be like too fucking black-pilled conspiratorial.
Knows everything about you.
But yeah, I just like.
Can you show my screen?
I just like look.
I just want to show you guys something.
What do you got?
So this is Bolt, which is like a huge payment processor. Look at this partnership. Bolt knows, Palantir knows so much about you that they've partnered with this organization
It's just straight
to do
Black Mirror, bro.
hyper-focused,
What? Why
targeted.
the hell would you need that with a payment processor?
Because
It's not a
your
feature you
goal
need.
is
Neither
to
the merchant
increase
nor the
average
user.
order value. And the more I know about you, just like Facebook offered in its early days of media buying, which you know very well,
Yeah.
the better the ad targeting.
Yeah, you can type in Facebook, I want
My
to
point
optimize
is,
for high
this
value.
company knows so much about people that we have no idea. Like, so, in the Marty is right segment of this podcast, yeah, like for sure. It's very concerning.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff is like happening right before your eyes, and the line is like, when do you stand up and say like, no, thank you?
Yeah.
I saw one of the, is it Tim Dillon, comedian?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw him talking about how Palantir is also kind of like co-opting the independent media already, like inviting comedians, podcast hosts, your Joe Rogan types, and like, just inviting them to events, like trying to get them to endear Palantir to some degree. And he's like, I've been invited to these events, and fuck no, I'm not going. But yeah, it's even more pernicious probably.
Yeah, because they're just the new journalists, so
Yeah.
they're going to start to get treated just like CNN journalists were back in the day, and then it'll become corrupt overnight. Like it'll happen so fast.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, every podcaster will be so corrupt.
And dude, that's like, how it's okay. So a good example of this is like, your parents, like they see just stuff on the internet and you're just like, how the fuck do you not know that that's fake? Right. The Psyops used to be so fucking basic. Right. And then the next generation could see the Psyops and they'd be like, you guys are fucking morons. Of course this is a Psyop. But like the Psyops keep evolving. And it's getting to the point now where like, they're so sophisticated. Like you just wonder like, our entire podcasters that exist, like would they just put there and like there's like a network of these things because they know that like obviously if people start knowing that like you've disregarded the mainstream media and now you get everything from like podcasters and all this stuff, obviously the bad people will just start fucking infiltrating that shit,
What
and
do
then
we
that'll be
call
like
it?
really scary because you'll all your defenses will be down. You'll be consuming all this information, and then you'll hear it repeated in a bunch of areas to give you the illusion that like what you're hearing is definitely correct.
It's just the mainstream media all over again.
Yeah, but, like,
and then
so much
alternative
worse.
Journalism will start.
so much
and-
more insidious.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what do we call it in a private or previous episode? Was it the Manosphere? It was
Yeah.
like when
Manosphere.
like Andrew Huberman and they start doing the podcasters do the circuits themselves of different podcasts
It's
and
just too black-pilled for me to start to look at all of it as a correlated
Because it's
system.
false, or because like you just don't want to deal with
No,
it.
it's false. It's false. I think there are some psyops happening. Definitely.
Okay, but let's
But like
br-
to start to just be like, oh my god, I see how it's all a psyop, is just too much.
but let's bring this back to like the Thiel Vance Trump
Yeah,
thing. Like
yeah.
I'm just like observing things that are happening.
I mean, Vance is obviously leading Trump in the direction that he wants.
Okay, like Trump, probably useful idiot who was sort of plucked to do a job, right?
Yeah.
Vance clearly at this point seems like he was like spotted in Yale or some brilliant guy, and like this is like the guy, right? He got in with like Thiel, got in with like all the VC people, and is obviously like a brilliant guy, and like he appeals to people like me because I'm like, God, this guy's so fucking smart, and I'm just ruled by fucking morons. So you just want to like listen to everything he says, but then like now he's there like waiting in the wings with fucking Thiel. He's like gonna be the next president probably, right? And then like Thiel's and these guys fucking fingertips and Palantir's in the government, and then like all these people want us to fucking bomb Iran and all this shit. Like, why? And then and then we're choking off all of the outlets for people to maybe protest against this. The other thing that we talked about in the show that now in retrospect I'm like, oh my god, I got psyoped, was like TikTok. Because I bought into the idea that like we shouldn't have TikTok
No,
because
TikTok is just the alternative
logically,
journalism they
because
can't control.
like logically speaking, it's obviously bad to have like some adversarial government with the fingertips on an algorithm that can program the brains of your like youth. But I think what actually was the thing that like sent TikTok over the edge was the Israel-Palestine stuff. I think like TikTok was responsible for like waking a lot of people up to the stuff happening
Definitely.
in Gaza. And when that started happening,
They said fuck that.
suddenly like, nope, this is like a national security threat and we're going to sell the thing. And now ByteDance is being sold now, right?
Yep.
And I'm guessing that content gets throttled or something and maybe it goes away. So they're choking off that information point. They're choking off the protest information point.
Jesus
We got like
Christ.
and the government. Like, I don't know that I'm being conspiratorial. I just feel like I'm just noticing things and connecting the dots on
Okay, so
things.
I as like a casual observer of this stuff, I'm noticing more and more. I guess it's like through the lens of you guys, right? And I'm starting to put some of the dots together, well, way behind where you guys are at, and like we're all way behind Marty in that regard. Like the naive question I have, and I don't know if you guys know the answer to this, but it's like we talk about they, and we talk about Donald Trump being controlled by, and I'm always wondering like by who, what's their incentive, and I think I want to understand that more before I can like really dive into this pool deeper.
Yeah, I think like if we're saying Peter Thiel's the grandmaster chess player here, you know, thinking 7 moves ahead, what is his worldview? Because as I understand it, he seemed pro-humanism at some point, or at least maybe it was like pro-life extension. I don't know if it was like pro-humans, but like he
Those
was
are
like,
different things.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
extend my life.
yeah, extend my life. Rules for thee, but not for me. Yeah, I don't know. What is his worldview? Does anyone?
Is like was the answer Peter Thiel then? Is like Peter Thiel part of the they? Is he?
I
the
think
they?
yeah. If
He's on the board.
He's on the board
Yeah.
of the they.
Yeah.
Like one thing I want to delve into way more now is do you know Whitney Webb?
No.
Nobody knows Whitney Webb. That's amazing. Okay. Whitney Webb is a fascinating figure, and she's written like a lot of books like on like Peter Thiel and like all this stuff you're asking about. Like, what the fuck is it? Who are these people in the shadows? What are they doing? And I don't think like there's this like cabal of elites who are all united. I actually think there's like a bunch of groups of powerful people in the shadows, like vying for control with different visions of humanity. Like I actually don't think
That seems to make more
I
sense.
actually don't think Elon is on like the same team as Peter Thiel, and I think that's the reason why like Elon one day left the White House with a fucking black eye, and some shit went down, right? So I don't think all these guys are in the same team. I think there's probably some like old school, like stereotypical banker Rothschild, like JP Morgan cabal. It's just kind of like old money shit. And there's like this techno cabal. And within the techno cabal, I imagine there are these like pro and anti-humanists going at it. And then we're all these like fucking little pawns just living life under the illusion that we're in some democracy. But in reality, we're just being governed by all these fucking puppets.
All right, I had the machine give out 5 bullet points that says what
good.
Peter Thiel's like worldview is about.
Okay.
So 1 is technological breakthroughs over incrementalism. 2, free market anti-democratic libertarianism. 3, the individual over institutions. 4, techno-conservatism. And 5, a world built by the driven, not the democratic masses.
Yeah, so
Maybe that last part is the one.
Yeah, he doesn't like the peons.
Doesn't want
Okay,
utilitarianism.
but back to Steven's previous point on like it's not just Peter Thiel. It's like different powerful parties vying for more power and using politicians as their tools. Right. I think this is not novel to me. Like even as a guy who like doesn't pay attention to this stuff, I think I've just sort of like poo-pooed politicians as being that the entire time without like spending so much time on like identifying the powers. I'd call them like lobbyist groups or the people funding these PACs or whatever. But I think it's probably just that mostly.
Why did we turn the fan off, by the way?
You want me to turn it back on?
I'm dying.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
the
it's
one
not-
up top at least.
It's a lot quieter.
It's a lot hotter.
It's a lot quieter.
Well, the one outside's very
hear
loud,
myself
but like
think.
I'm sweating. Like this one's quiet.
Yeah.
Nick, you don't have to turn that one on if it was making noise. Low's cool. I'm definitely sweatier. It could just be the stuff we're talking about.
you
I
just
just could be
But I
my
think-
anxiety
I
creeping
I
up.
think Marty would hear what I just said and be like, no, it's like deeper than what I'm.
Of
I'm
course he would.
Yeah.
You've never said anything to Marty, and he's like, "Yep, that's it. That's the end of the rabbit hole. Good job."
Marty is our in-house tinfoiler.
Expert. Yeah.
Expert.
I mean, I don't know.
I feel like every
By the way,
3
Marty
years-
is watching and said, "This is the best pod ever." Yes, remember when people didn't think Les Friedman was a spy? Now everyone knows. Did you guys know that Vivek and Vance were Yale classmates? And then the main ops for Trump, then his main dudes. LOL. Whitney Webb is my female alternate, but better than me. One of the 5 people I respect in tinfoil.
So there's also a comment here from him that says, you should care because you are part of the surplus too. It's not 6 billion other people. We are included. And suddenly that could change your view of how you tolerate and what you tolerate. Because I guarantee you, all 4 of us were thinking like, oh, we'd be okay.
No, I've always had this view. Well, this is, I mean, maybe not always, but for the last, I don't know, since COVID, right? Like we joke about this, like, oh, you have 3 years to hyper gamble your way into. I like genuinely believe that. Like I don't want to be in the surplus. Like I genuinely feel like there is going to be a surplus that I could be a part of. Like if I don't get rich enough.
What's the number we need to
Fuck,
be
man.
above
5
surplus?
million's a nightmare, Nick.
million's a
It's
fucking
definitely not
nightmare.
5 million. That'll maybe get you. That might be enough for you to escape and live in the woods
Will
or
you
something
actually
by
believe
yourself.
this?
Yes.
You actually believe you have 3 years to make it. Otherwise, we're what? Like I know you said part of the surplus, but
part
that
of the
means what?
permanent underclass, like at a certain point.
Permanent underclass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Permanent underclass, I think, is a better, less
Because
gnarly.
I think
there's-
resources will be obfuscated from a whole class of people. They'll just be inaccessible. What you're really paying for is access.
Well, I mean, look, you're seeing it happen right now in front of your eyes. Where like there's a point, like your hurdle rate on making money has been going up and up and up for decades now, and it's accelerating, right? Like your hurdle rate's very high. Like you can't fucking make 10% a year as like a 20-year-old with like a average job, and you can't get ahead. Like that's below the hurdle rate of everything going up. Like everything's just sort of being manipulated up with the money supply and stuff. And it's just like if you can't catch up to the point where like you can like buy a house and take care of yourself and not have to be on fucking UBI at some point because a cheeseburger costs $300 and
But
you just like can't afford it.
I'm asking you were worried that you weren't going to meet that threshold. Like
Yeah.
I've never been worried about that in my life.
It's the most Eric thing you've ever said.
I have never been worried about. I've never been less worried about it now.
I mean, I wouldn't be worried about it if I were you either.
Yeah.
What's the number though?
I don't
In
know,
today's
man.
dollars, because it'll be worth a whole lot less
I
later.
don't know. I don't know. Whenever people say this, what's the number? It's just like so useless to me. Like the number itself
I
could
don't know
just
if it's
vary
just the number
by like 10x. Like when, who the fuck
Right.
knows what's
I
gonna
think
happen?
there are
you
different
know?
ways to achieve it. I think access,
Access,
is
like
really
relationships?
key. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
relationships. I think
If you owned a media company that was
net
very
worth is
powerful, you would
measured-
probably
yeah,
be,
exactly. Or properties.
That's
but
a good
digital properties.
That's a good point. I think there are
Net
other
worth
ways
is also
to escape.
like just kind of a funny thing in general. Like the How to Get Rich book by Felix Dennis is like net worth can be viewed in many, many, many different ways.
Yeah.
Right. Like what are you actually holding that you call the value of your wealth? So I think it's about power, and then how do you measure that power? And there are different levers within that power structure.
like you could argue that if Mr. Beast was broke,
Mr.
He
Beast
still
is set for life.
yeah, but still he has an audience, he has power, so
because
like
of those things.
yeah, he doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily need money.
But like when you say this 3-year period, do you think that people who are on the dentist path that we've described so many times on this podcast are basically fucked because it's going to take way more than 3 years for you to sort of like make it if you're on that path? And I specifically mean dentist because dentist makes good money.
Right.
It's well above the 10% hurdle you're describing, but it's going to take longer than 3 years. So that guy's fucked? I don't think so.
That's a different question. I
Depends
think.
how he's investing his money.
Yeah.
I don't think that the path to wealth changes much. It's funny you bring this up because my brother-in-law was just here and he's like doing a good job. He's like working his ass off. He's like working construction, and he's like, but what I really need to do, I think, is have people work for me. Right? That's what I need. That's how you get rich. And I was like, not necessarily, dude. I think you've like been listening to too much TikTok. Like you're actually on the right path. You're working your ass off. You're working in construction. You got to save some money. Don't spend it all. And like that's how you get rich. Just do that.
But that's not true unless he saves all his money
I did
in
think
like
you would say yes. you
mega
would.
high risk vehicle. Like
I did think you'd
if
say.
like he puts so if he does that and then he puts every fucking dollar in like Nvidia, Bitcoin, and Ethereum or something, then
fine.
Yeah, but like I don't think people do that, and this is like the trap I'm talking about. Is that people think they grind a job, they save their money, but they're just putting it in like even like the
Their
S&P.
savings account.
They're saving it in like a 60-40 bucket of like the S&P and bonds. They're actually not getting it. They're actually slowly getting farther
didn't
behind
you
every year.
argue that like index is just cash?
S&P 500 is cash.
Yeah, it is effectively cash in the long run, not in terms of its volatility profile, but in terms of its like how people typically view cash.
What's the debasement profile, right? Like, because it's on par with M2
mean-
money supply is what we talked about.
S&P is what people think cash is. It's not cash. And then cash is not what people think cash is. It's a thing that's way fucking worse than cash, right? So the idea that like I'm going to save money and retire by putting all my money under the mattress, people would be like, that's ridiculous. You can't do that.
That's always been ridiculous. But this guy wants to save to buy a home. And like buying a home is a primary residence is different than an investment. Like that's a place for him to live. And like I think that's awesome. Work hard, save, buy a home. You don't need to like hyper gamble your way. Just save money and buy a home.
Yeah, but the average home in places where we live right now is probably like $1.6 million.
Well, he lives in North Carolina.
Okay,
So
cool.
It's less.
But even in North Carolina, what is it, like 600K,
Something like
700K?
that. Well, I mean, he can get an entry level home for
You know?
much less, but like the type of home that.
But even
is on a
saving
lake and
up
stuff.
$120,000 and then like paying like the interest rate on what, it's a lot of fucking money.
No doubt.
And if you do that, like, I don't know, like they can still get you, man. Like you live in an area, you're like, okay, I got my house, I'm good now, right?
What, okay.
Wrong.
Hold on.
House
Steven.
value goes up, your
What-
taxes go up, suddenly you
Let's
can't
just
pay
talk
for the
about
house.
surface. Isn't it ultimately about sovereignty? Like you want safety and sovereignty.
Yes.
So in a world where there's surplus humans, the real concern is there's a danger to your livelihood. Is there?
Yes.
If you have sovereignty, if you own your home and You get your UBI and everything's okay.
You do not
Are
have
you okay?
you do not have sovereignty just by owning your home and being on UBI. No,
Because of property taxes?
there's many ways that you could like lose your home.
How does this go wrong?
I mean, for one thing, like if property taxes just start going through the fucking roof, like I met like there's people in California. I had like a 200K home. Now my home is worth $2 million. You live in an area like California,
And your home
not
insurance
like
is like
California.
$40,000 a year.
Yeah, this was like one of the notable things in the last CPI report that was cool. You know, what was not cool? Health insurance, car insurance, these things that people have to pay for, like absolutely
So
have
you're
to pay
saying
for.
everything else around you skyrocketing could just like, but isn't that the point of UBI?
But if you're on UBI, you are in the permanent underclass now. This is what I'm talking about. Like
And what does it mean to be in the permanent underclass? What does life look like for that person?
life, it looks like whatever the powerful people will allow you to
want
have.
it to be and do and have access
And
to.
if you're cool with
and
that,
what you're saying is, I don't want another power to control what I have access to and can do. I mean, I could imagine borders closing. I could imagine being told where you can go, what you can do for a living,
You
what
can
you
spe-
should do for a living,
Strings
what you
attached.
should do for a living.
hey, you tweeted this
If you
thing
want
the other
this-
day. Like, can't be saying that. Like, if
Okay,
you want
this
your
is
UBI.
interesting. This is very interesting. So UBI comes with a price tag. There's a cost. There's quid pro quo, and you ultimately are just like subjugated to the rules of the way of Peter Thiel and his.
But by the way, this is already happening on some scale, right? We are already like not letting people into the country if we looked into their Twitter account, probably using some AI technology that rhymes with schmal and schmear.
Yeah,
and you said
this
things that
literally
like we don't
happens.
like. Like
This
these are all
literally
like
happens.
you're seeing like
Some
the
Irish
test runs
guy
of this stuff
wasn't
all
let
around
into
you.
the country for
Yeah.
some,
In the U.S.?
couple. Yes.
Oh, whoa.
This was like
And
a month ago.
And this is my worry. You're seeing all these like test pilot, like COVID was just a giant test pilot. These things are all like test pilots, and they're not going to stop there, right? That's like my fear is they just, you know. And if I'm wrong, then the worst case scenario is that when you go back and look at my life, I sound like a fucking kook on some of my podcast clips, but I'm still like happy, healthy, and like wealthy,
It's
right?
always better to play it safe with stuff like this because the cost is too high. Yeah, so I mean, back to you, Eric. It's like I actually am playing I'm definitely playing a similar game. I brought it up on the pod before. It's like I'm spending these next 5 years trying to do exactly what Steven said. Like, I don't want to be in that class as much as I can help it. It's come up a bunch on the Discord and the Life channel. Like, I know, the Money channel, I'm sure it's come up too, but a lot of people just talking about, like, yeah, there's a real driver and fire that I have within me to make sure that I have true sovereignty in the new world.
And the hurdle does get bigger and bigger. And it's bigger for us because we live in San Diego, which is our choice, but still.
I think the
for
you
hurdle-
everyone,
literally have to continue accelerating to such a degree.
you have to
maintain-
accelerate 2 to 3 times or more your debasement.
So
rate.
I think the hurdle is what I'm more interested in discussing because I think the rich have always been quote unquote hyper gambling because they invest all of their free dollars from the start, no matter what. All the rich do that, just not to the degree of like putting it in GameStop stock.
But that's not hyper gambling. That's just investing.
That's investing. Yeah. So they would like all put it at risk as well. This is just at further out on the risk curve.
Yeah, way
so
further out.
I think, and you're describing it to go further on the risk curve to meet this higher hurdle rate, which is like what I find interesting because I don't find interesting that you have to like invest your dollars. Everyone's been doing that I know for.
I think it depends what kind of starting capital you're.
I love that you say that, but I would say that 20% of the people I know invest their dollars, right? And being somebody who didn't invest was actually okay for many years. Like there are actually a lot of people who didn't really invest, but they just made money at work and saved the money, and that was fine. That's definitely not
Just-
okay
yeah.
anymore. And now it's not even
That would be
okay
a
to
sin.
invest like we were taught to invest like
What are we
20
really
years
saying?
ago.
Because like this is like a realm of despair for like 90%.
This is our
95%
generational
of
challenge
people.
for men of our age. I
Yeah,
think.
and again, like let's just say this is correct, like just for the sake of like the thought exercise, right?
Because
it might not
I
be.
feel it, whether I know it's true or not. Like I feel it.
Right. So let's like, thought exercise. This is correct. You're gonna live in like this crazy ass world where you're given this money and you're told exactly how to spend it and what you can do to receive it, and you don't want to. And what you currently do will not get you there. So what do? You have a good friend. He's sitting right here. Like, what do you say to the guy?
You
or
put
gal?
every fucking dollar you make into like AI stocks, because if AI stocks fail and you lose your money, well, at least you're probably not in dystopia, and so you're good. But if they like go to the fucking moon, you're probably
I
in
mean,
dystopia.
honestly, the portfolio of like Nvidia, Bitcoin, Ethereum makes a lot of sense to me,
yeah, like
Tesla
yeah.
belongs.
and Tesla belongs.
Like
for
Tesla,
sure.
Nvidia, yeah, just kind of like mag set. Like all the return is in like the mag. Well, not even Apple,
Five.
just
10.
like the mag five,
Five.
Right.
basically.
Yeah, it's not even that complicated.
It's
I
just
feel
Mag-
like
Mag 5
this is not
Bitcoin.
even. It's
the
not
big-
even that
so
bold
the
to
advice-
say.
That's right. It's not even complicated, which is the crazy thing.
But the
It's not.
advice
It's not a crazy thing.
Actually, is like you're not investing enough dollars. You're living beyond your means. Like you're not spending enough. You're not allocating enough toward.
This is not
that.
novel. I think my point is that this is not novel. Everyone who wants to get rich should be doing exactly this: working hard, saving your money into like these
Yeah.
stocks.
Yeah,
what
but
you're saying.
No, this is novel because we have never lived in a point in history before where you had like an 8.5% hurdle rate.
The hurdle went higher. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think it's very different whether you're starting with millions or tens of millions of dollars versus someone who's starting out with $25,000. And it's like, okay, so that's where like Steven's term of like I need to kind of gamble my way to, reach this multiple times this hurdle rate kind of comes into play.
And like gamble is almost like a bad word because it implies you're making like zero edge bets. Like I'm not even saying gamble. I'm saying like bet and like embrace volatility. Like bet stuff that has like a high expectation but massive volatility. Don't be
feel
afraid
like
of volatility.
We should just call it what everyone's called it my entire life who's been doing this. They call it investing.
No, this is not called investing.
I
Like
don't think it is, man.
advocating that somebody's portfolio be 100% Nvidia layered with a 10% allocated leveraged like Nvidia calls on top of it to further leverage that is not like what is people investing has typically been like buy the S&P and balance it out with like 30
Some
or
bonds.
40% bonds, right?
Yeah, don't you agree that's been the, let's call it past 20, 30 years is S&P 500 and some bonds, a 60-40.
Could
and
we
now
just argue that the playbook for investing maybe has evolved?
it's required evolved, not like
I think
voluntarily.
so.
It's like, fuck.
Okay.
Did you
this
see?
is-
Did you see like the discussion I had with somebody in the Discord a few days ago? He's talking about his friend. He was like, "Yeah, my friend's investment portfolio. I forgot who I was talking about this with. So my friend's investment portfolio is 30% cash and 70% triple levered SPX, and he basically just uses his money market to buy dips when they happen."
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And then I was like, "This is the dumbest strategy ever. Like this is like losing money." And then I pulled up the chart, and the fucking triple levered S&P
It actually worked.
for the last like 20 years, it's up fucking infinity. It is.
But wait,
like,
it
smashing.
doesn't get fucked up in the
Vol
chop?
decay. No, not
No.
not since
Vol decay doesn't happen when thing goes up only.
Up only. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and like even like when we've had these nasty drawdowns, it didn't matter because like everything has just been up only because it's nominally up only. This era of chop doesn't exist anymore. They keep juicing stuff, and I was like, holy fuck! Like this is like actually is this like actually the strat? You just go like
Yeah.
fucking 80%
Yeah, but, like,
2x levered
really interesting.
But, like,
Nasdaq
why-
and
I
20%
mean,
cash.
Yeah, why go Nasdaq when you can just own Nvidia and just
That's
lever up on that?
really
You know, like
interesting.
you can just like play this game.
Concentration
sort of
risk.
forever.
Well, there's a little more
Little
diversity
risk,
in Nasdaq.
but, you know,
But yeah, but
not
points.
really.
Is that the SPXL?
There's a bunch of them.
Okay.
There's a bunch of
I
them.
wanna
but
see
yeah,
this
it was
chart.
the triple leverage.
I
So
gotta pee.
Jesus.
no, like it blew my brain. But like if you think about how the game is set up now and how they're fucking everybody, it's like actually kind of the optimal strategy. Like you do get fucked if you go into a new paradigm where like stocks go sideways sometimes for 5-year periods. Then yeah, you get massacred. But that doesn't happen anymore. And then not to say that that could never happen in the future, but like under what circumstances would that happen in the future? Like, is that the correct strategy? Like it, and I like the idea of like having cash, but then also having the rest of your portfolio just be like fucking like levered to the tits, basically. But like you can't get liquidated on these ETFs. You know, you can just get bled very badly if it goes sideways. But it's like I think it's a fascinating discussion.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a little different way you could structure it, like a chunk in Bitcoin, a chunk in the S&P 500, and then a chunk being like, I want to lever up via calls the Mag 5. You know, your S&P 500 is basically keeping up with debasement, and
Yeah, I mean,
Bitcoin, and
God.
hopefully your
I'm even
Bitcoin
like black pilled on the fucking S&P 500 at this point. It's just like Eric's right. I sometimes think like, what is Nvidia not just the best way to play? If the world's going to be taken over by AI and
Dude, I
the
told
overclass
you.
is going to enslave it, dude,
I
I looked at the Nvidia chart today. It's just got like 19 consecutive weeks without like a down close, like a week that closed like below the prior week. It just goes up only.
Literally what I looked at.
Like it might be the best
I haven't
hedge
looked at the
against
chart in a
all of
while.
this. It's just, and I had a fucking limit order for this thing in April during the tariff crash. I missed it by a fucking quarter at the pico bottom.
Yeah, just market buy it, bro.
But I mean, this is my plan. Like, I'm just like I'm like tits long on crypto for a bit because I still think it's like undervalued and everything. But then, like at a certain point, like I think I just rotate everything to AI basically and just call it a day. And then but I'll probably barbell it though. Like I probably will. I like the
Yeah.
idea of keeping 20 to 30% of my net worth in cash, but then like just whipping the eggplant out on the other 70%, just like really sending it. And I feel like having that cash cushion like makes it so much easier to be like a fucktard with the other 70.
If you had perps available on the SP 500, would you rather use that than options?
no, perps suck for like longer term
'Cause of-
portfolio.
because of the carry.
It's just like I don't know. It's just so much more complicated than just buying a levered ETF or buying an ETF and then just putting like leaps on it that expire like 5 years from now or something. You know, it's just too much. I think.
I feel like this debasement challenge for our generation is like it's to me it's like a final boss. You know, it's like, okay, I've achieved like quite a bit of success, but I'm like still like, man, I don't feel financially free. Like I should be, but I don't feel it because I see this like this steady march of just life getting more expensive, and maybe it's at the age I'm at, like where I'm at in life, you know, just married, maybe gonna have kids soon, whatever. Life just gets more expensive in this time, but I do think it's like it's my personal final boss right now. It's like, okay, I just need, you know, an order of magnitude, or not even, you know, but just a step function higher to be like, okay, now I feel fine. But like, it's so absurd that like, you know, whatever the number is in the bank account, like it should already be just fine. Like it should be. It's so ridiculous that like, and I don't know if it's my personality that like is still anxious about it, or it's just actually factual. Like, yeah. That's a lot of fucking money, but not enough, bud. Sorry.
Dude, it's all relative.
I know.
Exactly.
It's just a wild thing we've accepted as the norm that like we basically just have like this melting pile of ice for money, and that everything just goes
Like
up.
I could
Right?
find
It's just-
99 people in a room out of 100 that would look at it and say like, you're out of your mind.
Dude, I think about this all the time. How it is all relative. Like somebody like some people that I went to school with would wake up with my assets and they'd be like, "What happened?" Like in a bad way.
Oh.
And then somebody else in the world would wake up and be like, "What happened?" In a good way. You know, because it's all just relative.
But I don't know, when you actually be like, okay, this is the lifestyle I want, and I plan to have 2 kids, and this is the home I want, and here's like a subtle rate of inflation, and just you see healthcare costs and, you know, just maintenance on a home. Like you actually get into the weeds of it, and you're like, fuck, my nut
fucking
is getting bigger. I don't know if you guys saw the most recent South Park. It talks about his nut getting bigger, and it's so good. It's a great episode. Anyway, I gotta make my nut.
I need to get back on South Park.
No, so this season is a
It's fire.
good time because they just went scorched earth.
Nice.
They don't give a fuck.
I don't think they've ever given a
Dude,
fuck.
no, they haven't. But like this one was just a dart straight at Trump, and yeah, it's epic. All right, let's see if the chat's awake.
Should we get into this?
I don't know.
Let's see what the chat's saying real quick.
Let's see. Corby says, "Man, this is a GOAT episode for me. Agreeing with everyone while you argue makes me reminisce early Alfalfa. Left Side Capital, only 6 stocks have outperformed the TQQ. I don't know what that is, but it
The
sounds
TQQ
like
is the levered one.
levered. Okay. Speaking of crypto, this is where programmable money comes in. We will give it to you, but you can only spend it on exactly what we say. I was going to bring that up, Alan, that
Yeah, that's a good one.
like here, but it's only for baby formula.
Yeah.
And this brand is politically aligned with this administration, so you got to
I actually think this might age like milk, but I actually think that like UBI being controllable actually makes sense.
Well, it's good that there's not it's a good thing.
Yeah, I actually think that some portion of UBI, like it's basically like food stamps, but
But you can't buy
but
Coca-Cola,
better. Yeah, you can't buy like shit with
liters
it.
of Coke.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you though.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that. Like I think if you're dependent on someone like that's part of the bargain. It is also like kind of fucked up though, because the reason a lot of people are going to be dependent is not actually going to be through any personal choices they made. It's the result of a system that they were born into that was constructed by, the powers that be that made
Yeah,
institutions like the Fed and all these
Yeah,
things.
pushing the hurdle rate higher and higher and higher.
Didn't have a choice, but like, AI will just like enable the powerful people to just entertain the peons in ways that they can't do now.
There is this exit plan for those folks, I think, still. It's not like that compelling to people like us, but an exit plan is there's a fuck ton of land in the United States and they can just sort of like go homestead.
Move anywhere,
There
yeah.
is an alternative.
Yeah.
That is a different kind of self-reliance, which I think
Yeah, but
it's totally valuable.
It's not even that
viable.
hardcore of self-reliance. This isn't like 1492 or whatever that series was.
I do think it gets harder than like working a job. In my
Yes.
opinion. In my opinion.
There's still a store and gas stations and,
Yeah,
you
probably more rewarding.
Yeah, probably.
just got to own guns.
Gotta have guns.
I mean, that was one thing that crossed my mind as we were talking about a lot of this stuff. I was like, guns are pretty important.
Bro, the
Yeah,
guns-
give us the elitist
Bro,
viewpoint.
The
of what
guns,
they-
are, the guns are so important, man.
Yeah.
Like people are gonna understand my viewpoint someday. They'll be like,
Yeah.
that's.
Should we
why
rehash
get guns.
the porn and guns
and
debate?
porns.
Just like rerun it back.
It's like anniversary.
see if anyone's changed their mind.
Anniversary would be good. That was like my favorite episode we've ever done.
Oh, that was so fun. Yeah, I wish the video quality was a little better.
What was it? It was like, is this the top plus porn and guns?
It was. Yeah, it was. Is this the top? Guns and porn.
I thought our gun arguments were on point. I imagine if we revisit them, I forget what they were, but
Yeah, I haven't changed my stance on guns since then.
oh, this will be great then.
If we had like an actual producer in the budget and stuff, it would be really fun to have him like occasionally pull shit that I said like 2 years ago and just play it, and I'd be like,
Yeah, how did it age?
Yeah,
Yeah, we we have like enough in the hopper.
we
to
get a
do
whole
that.
segment called "How Did It Age?" Right? Just like pull a clip. And then
Sour milk
everybody's like,
emoji.
Yeah, the sour milk button. Ooh. Fine wine or sour milk.
We're kind of near the end. I don't know if we wanted to talk about the last topic or punt it. Is all the charts of certain personality traits going down?
I think we could do it.
You want to do it?
Think so?
Or do you want to call it? I mean, it's evergreen.
It is.
I'm on the fence.
I'm on the fence.
I'm on the fence. It's been such a good episode.
Well, the fact that Armand's not here is why it's not being.
Ah,
It's not
Well,
being
our-
pushed.
Armand's coming back.
Armand's walking back in. All right, you're the deciding vote. Do we go into the next topic or do we punt it?
What's the next topic?
The charts of the personality traits going down.
I love that topic.
Do you want to do it now or do you want to do it next week?
What would we do instead?
Well, we would just
We would
end
end.
because it's 7 p.m.
No.
All right.
No.
Guy just had a fresh pee. He's ready to
Keep
go
the
another hour.
Keep the party going.
One more
Shocker.
song.
All right.
Song.
We're back. We're back. One more song.
Encore.
Encore.
Okay, let's throw this up on the screen here, and what we're looking at is a series of personality traits and
Series of tubes.
a series of tubes, and it looks like
Wait, you got this from the Financial Times?
yes.
Okay.
And what's weird is that it's showing that our personalities are changing, and it's pretty cumulative across multiple age demographics. So the big one is like conscientiousness is in a steep decline since I think like 2012 is what it's showing. So most represented by the 16 to 39 cohort, less so in the 40 to 59, and slightly down, but mostly even for the 60 plus. Neuroticism is up only, again, particularly for the 16 to 39 group. Agreeableness is down. Extroversion, and this is interesting because it's down across all age ranges in the same kind of trajectory. So this is one slide. There's a few more, Armand. Can you pan to the next one? Okay, so maybe this is more about a little more detail, but makes plans and follow through. Down only. Perseveres until finish. Down only. Is easily distracted. Up only. And can be careless.
Oh, that's a wild one.
16 to 39 up only, but pretty even for the 40 plus crowd. And let's see. Okay, last set we have is outgoing, down only. Is helpful to others, down, but specifically down for the younger
That's up,
demographic.
basically
But then like
flat.
up since the election.
Oh yeah, that's weird. Is trusting,
Oof.
down, again more so for the younger demographic. Starts arguments, and it's bifurcated. So the older generation is down, the younger generation is up, and the
chilling.
40 to 59 is just chilling. So I thought these were a fascinating set of data points, and I've never thought that like a generation could change personality types like in unison as one. I just never thought it. I thought everyone's personality is like a snowflake, and it's unique in its own right, and everyone's unique, but we're clearly kind of like moving as a herd here. And there's some generational differences, but I thought it was a fun one to maybe dissect. I saw, just to throw out like one of the easiest arguments someone threw out there was like, oh, this is the internet, this is mobile phones, this is social media. And while that might be true, that seems to be like the first most obvious answer, but not probably the best or the one that really moves the needles.
Yeah. So are you agreeing with this data set? Like in your observation, like you think this is
Well, we were talking
That's
before the
right.
pod. Should we define conscientiousness because we realized we all didn't understand what it was?
Yeah,
Armand,
actually-
you had the
Hey,
right
hey, Speak for
definition.
yourself.
So okay, well, Armand, you want to describe it because I thought Eric and I thought it was something slightly different.
Yeah, I define it. I mean, so this is the, big five is like what we're measuring, and
it's a personality trait.
yeah, it's like I would call it the gold standard for measuring personality because it isn't just like placing you and describing you. It's putting you on a spectrum versus everybody else. So like while it might not be as like specifically defined in terms of what you do with it, it's ultimately placing you on a spectrum so you understand like how conscientious or neurotic or agreeable you are versus other people in a room of 100 people. So when you take a big five personality test, you get a percentage score on each one of these. So conscientiousness I define as like industriousness and how organized you are. So industrious, how hard do you work? How committed are you to what you do? Do you put in the work? And how responsible and organized are you in how you go about your life? And that is just like plummeted for the 16 to 39. It's down for everybody, but the 16 to
Okay,
39.
so I didn't
it's,
realize
like,
is
plummeted.
neuroticism and agreeableness, extroversion, those are the other parts of the big five. So this
Yeah.
is basically just big five,
Four of the five.
4 of the 5.
Yeah. And, with neuroticism, it's really interesting because it's definitely up after COVID for the 16 to 39, which you can definitely feel and see. Agreeableness is down for sure. And that's interesting because people are definitely more disagreeable and willing to get into engage arguments, just like this other chart showed about starting arguments. So those are correlated. That's like a sub factor. Yeah, it's really interesting.
I mean, the ones I find like I see around in my daily life is the extroversion down. That seems to be like an obvious one. Also, just like a general flakiness, I guess, like or non-committalness. Those were two of the ones in there. I kind of see that, feel that.
In yourself or in others?
Yeah, a little bit in myself, but like mostly, I don't know. I feel I like being extroverted when I can, but anyway, yeah, I see it in both myself, my close friends, family, but also everywhere else.
Dude, I bet you if you ran like a correlation on all of this stuff with like dopamine disorders, it would be like a R of like 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so is that one of the culprits?
I think it's like
Yeah,
a
like we were
huge culprit.
sort of attributed to social media, but it's just like
So,
dopamine.
yeah, is the screen the mechanism and the medium, but actually it's instant gratification is the culprit.
From DoorDash and Uber, a girlfriend.
and girlfriend.
Yeah,
It's not
like,
the
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if. Do you think instant gratification is
I
the
mean,
word,
that's
or just?
dopamine.
I
Dopamine
think
That's what I think of it
addiction
as,
Is
yeah.
instant gratification addiction.
That's what I thought too.
Porn.
I want a high now. My brain wants it. I want it, and I'm addicted to it.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Well, yeah. The one that I didn't show is openness, which is interesting. I actually would have liked to see that, and my guess is that the reason they didn't show it is because it wasn't interesting.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
makes
might have been
sense.
flat.
Yeah, and I would actually think that dopamine wouldn't have much of an effect on that, to be honest.
It doesn't.
I don't even know what openness means in terms
Openness
of the big five.
is creativity. How malleable is the world to you? Imagine like Steve Jobs, like high openness score.
Yeah, I think we just have like a massive chronic dopamine crisis, and then there's something layered on top of that, which is like a legitimate sense that the world is kind of fucked up for these people.
These people is us people.
Yeah.
This is everybody. That's what's
Yeah.
crazy. This is like
I
society
mean, it's
at
16
large.
to 39. So
In particular-
a small percentage of this, like, sure, if you're like a elder millennial, then maybe you've kind of escaped. But like, if you're like 16 to 25, which is like half of that age range, like you're in the thick of it, you know?
It's funny because I didn't I didn't upload this one, but there's also a similar date range, similar demographics, and the measure is life satisfaction, and it is down only for 39 and under, roughly flat for 40 to 64, and 65 and over are also roughly flat. They're just at a much higher base. So, you know, you look at this 39 and under, and it's like down only for life satisfaction. And I wonder if, like what you're saying, it's a combination of dopamine plus like, I feel like I can't.
I mean,
You're in
all I
keep
can
up.
You're in
do.
that bottom quintile, and you sort of don't see a way out.
All I can do is look at myself. Okay, I'm 16 to 39, and I look at that, and I say like the only one that I don't correlate to is conscientiousness. Neuroticism definitely ticked up with politics and
I just-
polarization of the world.
It just struck me that two of you guys are on the red line.
Agreeableness. For now, agreeableness down. I'm way more disagreeable. Extroversion down. Conscientiousness for me, you know, same. Like I've been highly my whole life, but everything
funny.
else I would agree.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't agree with like any of these.
So you're in inverse to all of these, like over time.
A lot of them.
Since 2012 to 2024. Just call it the last 10 years.
Do you think he's
I
just being a contrarian?
No, never.
I've definitely become more agreeable, and
More
I've definitely
agreeable.
become more extroverted because, like,
Is that your own journey? You think?
I mean, I started my life in such a fucking like autistic place, though. Like, I kind of had nowhere to go but
Up.
up.
What about neuroticism?
I think my neuroticism has gone down. I think I was way more neurotic when I was younger. I think my neuroticism probably peaked like 10, 12 years ago.
That's interesting.
Which, yeah, especially if there's a lot of people listening going like, what? But, you know, good thing
Yeah.
you didn't know me back then.
I don't know much about the big five, but I think that there's probably, you could view these things as being like, if it's moving down, it's probably bad for conscientiousness and agreeableness and extroversion. I think I'm moving down. I'm moving in a wrong direction, probably.
But, you know, everyone is, and so there's something to be said for that. It's just the wave and the way that it's moving, and a lot of it is just sociological. And that's challenging because if it becomes acceptable, slippery slope, back to that, if it becomes acceptable to be a little more sort of, you know, disorganized and a little bit more neurotic and worried and, you know, hypervigilant, but also a little bit more okay to not hold the door open for someone or to disagree with them or to be a dick sometimes and to just be on your phone and not acknowledge another human being. Once it's happening around you, you're going to start to mirror exactly what you see. So it's so interesting because once something starts to take hold in the majority, everyone else will follow suit. And it can
Yeah.
start as a small seed, but it'll eventually just completely take over. So I don't know what to say about what to do about that, but it's these are, you know, there's no right way to be a human being. Like the big five is just literally a spectrum. But in general, if you think about the future, like what do we want? Do we want people to be creative and hardworking and agreeable?
Yeah, you would be
and
like
less
describe me
neurotic
utopia of the what
and
the
more
chart should look
open
like. Yeah,
and more extroverted
This is
and
the
more
opposite.
social. This is the opposite.
So this is in America, right? It's not global. It's like it's the
not sure.
Analytics of Understanding America study.
Yeah.
yeah. So
There you go.
I assume
So yeah, because I was thinking like, does our capitalist system sort of have an impact on these things? But then you would think maybe that it would probably look to improve conscientiousness because there's like an incentive to be more organized and productive or something.
Well, for conscientiousness, it's interesting because the new generation, in particular, from millennial down, is clearly less conscientious.
Yeah.
Like they just don't value hard work and they're nihilistic in the pursuit of it because they don't see the reason and the outcome and the reward. There's no carrot. So
you can
like,
easily
the
see that as
fact-
an employer, like
Yeah,
so easily.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so like if there's no carrot, like 60 plus is looking at it saying like I'm going to be fine, it's okay. Like whatever conscientiousness I had 10 years ago, like I'm good. Like I'm taken care of. But everyone else is saying like what's the point? And you can clearly see why that
The
conscientiousness
neuroticism
would
one
fall.
is interesting to me because that's the one I think I feel more myself, like just a little more worry, a little more anxiety, more than usual. Like, and I've felt it even when I don't know what the reason is. I'm just like,
For
why
sure.
am I
Okay.
Anxiety
like
is at an
this?
all-time high.
Is that what that
I brought
one
it up to
means?
Steven on the last episode. It was, I forget the figure I dropped. It was probably like 70% of teenage girls have anxiety.
Tendency to feel negative emotions more frequently and intensely than average. Things like anxiety, irritability, mood swings, self-consciousness, and vulnerability to stress.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely an epidemic.
The self-consciousness one I didn't think about, but I could see
mean,
when you mentioned young
It's
teens.
the
I was
most
like,
self-conscious generation of all time.
yeah.
I've been feeling more irritability lately.
Is that because you're not sleeping? Because of
Yeah, maybe.
JoJo?
I've like become aware of it when those like thoughts come into my mind. I'm like, whoa, what was that?
I've never seen this one before. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating and definitely concerning.
I mean, it's kind of like sad and frustrating because you want them all to go the opposite direction, and there's no way to like you flip a lever and it all goes back in the can.
But I also don't think that's like what society's optimizing for. You know, like we're not optimizing for each other's mental well-being. We're optimizing for like productivity.
Yeah,
So, are we becoming more productive? I think so.
arguably.
Yeah, it's hard to measure. I guess by GDP.
You could just forecast in the future. Will people be less or more conscientious? Will we be more or less productive? I'd say we'd be more productive, and all these things will accelerate.
Yeah, and then I guess is our like guiding principle of trying to be more productive, is that the
Probably-
agenda we
probably
should
not a
be
great
pursuing?
one.
I have a question for you guys. Like, how do you see these charts turn around? Everything I see in front of us only shows that whatever direction each one of these is moving in will only increase.
So this is over 12 years, 15
Mhm.
years ish. So
Like
Well-
we talk about the future a lot. Will people be more worried, anxiety-ridden, harder working, less organized, less hardworking, more agreeable, less agreeable, more open to
people need to
engaging
be
with people in real
happier.
life?
If people are happier, these things will turn around.
If people are happier. So you think happiness has a correlation to some of these traits?
Well,
Okay.
hold on, because go to the next slide, because some of them have ticked up recently.
he's
Uh,
easily
Yeah,
distracted.
he's easily distracted.
Wow.
Can be careless.
No, hold on. Go to the next slide. Is helpful to others, taking up for all cohorts.
Okay.
What do you think might be?
If we were having Steven analyze this chart, he'd be like, "That's called manipulation."
The meme where the guy's like, oh, there's like a 1% candle.
Yeah, 1% candle up, and you're getting excited.
I'm
Okay,
just saying.
I-
I'm gonna call that noise.
I'll throw one out. I think you could reverse a lot of these, and mainly reverse happiness if you could get the income to home ratio back in line. I don't know how you do that, but like I feel like a lot of the
People just want to buy homes.
I guess, and then even if they didn't want to buy them, it's just like this ability that like things aren't escaping you.
Yeah, it gives you a feeling of agency, sovereignty.
It gives you all
like
of that.
a thing that you feel like you can actually work for, and it, like having a goal that's like attainable, like can give you purpose in life. It can make you happy. Like if you can't do your main kind of North Star directive, it's like,
Yeah.
all right,
Everybody wants something that's hard, but still like within reach. If it's too hard, they're just like, fuck, I quit.
Yeah,
Right, and
attainable
I
is a
think
great
that's
word
what's
for it.
happening.
Yeah.
And I think that one metric could change a lot of the.
So give everyone a home, and they'll be happier.
Subsidize it more.
Yeah, I think Greenspan did that. You know, he's like, or Bush was like, we want everyone to
I
afford
don't know
a
if
home.
this is
Yeah.
correct takeaway.
What happened in
from what I
Yeah.
said, but
Build more homes.
Build more homes.
Make
Build
supply
more homes.
easier.
build more homes, print less money.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Well,
You could potentially build the more homes.
Yeah,
Potentially.
half of it.
They may not be where you want them, but
A lot of land.
a lot of land.
Well, that's
A lot of
fine
land.
because no one wants to talk to anyone anyway. So
perfect.
And you'll get in your robo taxi anyway, so you could be productive on the
Out of
Robo,
my
hour.
way.
Robocopter.
yeah,
It's just live in the mountains, just zip down to downtown for
I
a
would
drink.
if it was easy.
That would be very fun. Like you just live in the mountains, you call your Robocopter, it just flies you down, just rappel down to the bar. End of the night, you're drunk, just attaches to your wrist, just pulls you up, just back to your mountain cabin.
Yeah, why is my arm sore?
That's the life right there. That's how I wanna. That's how I wanna live.
These charts, this is from the chat. These charts should overlay social drinking. Younger crowd don't drink and don't hang out in real life.
Damn.
Yeah, because they're fucking depressed.
Shots fired.
But if you did that more,
Who said that?
Corby,
Corby. Fucking genius.
chill out.
You gotta drink more.
Hang out with your buds.
Yeah, it's that easy.
All right.
All
Wrap
right.
it.
Yeah, I think that's it. That was fun. If you guys have any more thoughts on these charts, throw them in the comments on the YouTube channel, or you come into the Discord. All the links are at alfalfapod.com. We will be back next week. I think everyone is here? Question mark?
Yep.
Cool.
Well, I might be dead, but
No, you're not going to be.
Steven's falling apart. Back's hurt.
Yeah.
Can't sleep.
I might be buried in the desert.
Yeah, but you're going to be rich. It's okay.
Not gonna do me much good buried in the desert.
All right, guys. See you next week, Wednesday, 5 p.m. here live on YouTube. We love you lots. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
See you.